Hello!
Hello, everybody!
Hopefully everyone can hear us and see us.
Can you see us and hear us?
Can you see us and hear us and hear us and see us? We've got things a little bit. We've got loads of people already.
32. I was thinking that might be the most people we've ever had in the lobby.
Yeah. Oh, it's 12. Oh, it's 1.
Much better sound than usual. I know what we've done there. Okay.
We have to turn the microphones on, at least that's the start. I made sure I said it right this time without blowing anybody's ears out. So I don't know if I need to move the microphone a little bit, because you're quite off screen.
The camera. I won't move the microphone, that won't make any effect.
No, move the camera.
Hello, everybody. Hello. Look a bit closer. Is
that better? Hopefully that's better. Hopefully everyone can hear us.
Let me know if I like to do this, as I'm prone to do when I'm talking.
Yeah.
Basically, because Pete's breath stinks.
And it must really stink if Robin can smell it. Can hear it? Really smell if he can hear it. Fucking hell. Sorry, people are like, what are these spats going on about? We need to talk about Underworld. Oh my god. Who we got? We got Adam L on. Hello, Adam. March of Time. Hello.
Someone got a haircut. Yeah, it was me. We wouldn't tell if Pete got a haircut, would we?
Really attacked tonight. Your breath stinks, your hair's shit. It worked the theme.
Just said there wasn't any.
Who else have we got? FR Black Sheep, hello.
Underworld isn't there, but our friendship is.
John Bullway, hello. Big on Minis is in. Steve Keane, Sean Valjean. He says he's never caught us right after the start. Great timing. Yes, indeed. Probably better to catch us just after the end, but that's better. I am being ravaged today, Adam, on live as we speak.
Live ravaging.
Never had that before.
Yeah.
Mark Reynolds says in hello. Mickey Bells. Don't forget to tell us about the rules.
41 of you lovely people. Are you too late? Yes, Underworld is finished. Yes, sorry, Johan.
Rob Bridgewater's in. I think we've said hello to everyone who said something, but if you haven't said your name, do shout in the chat and we'll try and saying hello. And
Spaced Crusader says good evening.
Hello, Space Crusader. So,
and some bloke called Nick Baton is in the comments.
Dodgy looking guy. Martin Eyes is in as well. Hello. Fantastic, great turnout again.
Yeah,
I don't think we'll hit the heady heights of last time.
Maybe,
but even this is fantastic. Lots of news since last video, since Stephen. Yes,
absolutely loads.
And we're going to be talking about all of it tonight. And Nick will be just sitting there silently tittering away, painting his models about all the stuff we're getting wrong.
Absolutely.
Charles Hill's in, hello, and Jason Gange. Is that Gange or is that Grange? I can't read from here.
There isn't an R.
Oh, is there not? Okay. Yes. So.
Big name. Right. Where should we start? Where should we start? Because we probably start chronologically. So in the beginning there was a nothing, and then anyway.
I was trying to explain the other day to my son, like, you know, before time started, what was before time, and I got the usual typical teenage response of, don't know. Like, yeah, but just try and picture before there was time. Don't know.
If it wasn't time, it can't be before it, though, can it? Anyway, let's not go there.
It exploded.
So should we start with yesterday's article? I feel like
yes, I think yesterday's article. We'll probably end up shooting off of the off of page quite a bit anyway. But we're even a little bit more technical now, because we can go. Oh,
because yesterday's article.
You can't quite see it. Let me shift the screen a little bit.
Can everybody see it? Oh,
I know why I've just got to modify things.
Oh yeah, well this is the second one. Should we do the first screen first?
Oh yeah, mate. Is the first screen? Does it make much difference?
You did the first. I thought you'd done the first screen. Or you've not done that one right?
That one seems to be. For some reason, neither of them appear to be right. I think I know why.
Okay.
Let me just.
Just talk amongst yourselves. Literally.
Here we go. There we go. No, I didn't want to zoom out that much. You stupid screen. God, why did Windows already do this? Always do this. Right.
Okay.
It zoomed in for some unknown reason.
Jason upside down. That guy's a menace. Bick Nathan is a menace.
Bick Nathan. Bloody Bick Nathan.
Alliance. Is it a thing of the game? Last time cards turned up after a few seasons. Ooh.
So what's that?
Chance of Sigmar. I don't know. So it just says Alliance. Is it a thing in the game? Last time cards turned up after a few seasons.
Oh, the Grand Alliance stuff.
Alliances. Oh, okay.
There's not been any mention.
Yeah,
to that.
I haven't seen anything that would suggest they're actually a thing.
No.
Apart from these four
things,
4 boxes that we're about to talk about. But I don't think that they. I think they're just themed rather than any rules tying them together.
So to
I'm doing that. I'm not on screen.
Yeah, I know, you're not on screen. So.
Okay.
So, yes, they released this yesterday, which seems already like a lifetime ago, which said that they're going to be releasing 60 new warbands.
Which we knew
which we did
was coming, but we didn't know they were going to be in little boxes,
No.
big boxes, with 4 warbands.
No. And they're in boxes of 4. I know some people don't like the fact they're in boxes of 4, but I'm okay with it.
I kind of feel like this is one of those things where GW is damned if it does and damned if it doesn't.
Yeah.
I can understand why if you don't really want 2 or 3 of the warbands in the box, then releasing them as 4 is rubbish. However, if you want all of them, having them all 16 available separately causes a stocking headache, a distribution headache, a packaging headache.
I can see.
And actually would make the product more expensive at the end of the day if you did want all 16.
Yeah, I think when they did the Mirrored City one, it was £60.
It was really quite reasonable. I remember everybody going, "Oh, that's all right."
Loads of people, they'd already sharpened their pitchforks and lit the torches, and then GW went...
Are you sure about that? That doesn't sound like the sort of thing that Underworlds
I know, it doesn't, I know.
Really, but you mean they kind of kicked off before they knew all the information?
I know, who would do something like that?
That doesn't sound right to me.
Who would do something like that? But, yeah, they were all ready to kick off, and then GW sort of went, oh, it's going to be 60 quid. Everyone, oh, that's actually not bad.
That's not bad at all.
There were still a few people going, oh, I already have the models. Like, well, take these extra models and put them in that giant pile of models you're never going to put together anyway.
I am going to leap forward a little bit, though, because I did feel like yesterday, when none of those warbands were mentioned, it did feel a little bit like GW were taking the mickey.
It did a little bit, yes.
Because it was like, that is literally the last release,
Yeah.
and you have literally invalidated it. But for those of you who haven't
5
caught
months
up, today they revalidated them because they're all back in.
So let's stick to the script. So
Yes, sorry.
for this one, you've got 4 boxes, each has 4 warbands, and they put it in Grand Alliance order. Mm-hmm. So you've got your order and your chaos.
Order is one of the Grand Alliances. So
it is, yeah. Order. So you've got your order, your chaos, your destruction, and your death.
Yeah.
And we won't spend too long going through it, but in your order box, you've got
a surprising lack of Stormcast warbands.
Very surprising lack, yeah. So you've got your
Profiteers,
your dwarfs, and you've got your
Ilthari. Really excited to see Ilthari back because Ilthari has had a rough ride since she came out. Really, no, there was a brief time when they were viable, but nobody plays Iltharis really these days. So it's really nice to see them back, and they are lovely models.
And then, so this is really pissing me off now because I had this all lined up just before we went live, and now it's doing this. So yeah, so you've got Iltharis, you've got the dwarfs, you've got some Maori's purifiers, which is quite nice to see.
Yeah, actually they're one of my underrated warbands. I quite enjoy playing them, and the models are very different to many other things. So I'm quite glad to see them back.
And then the last one is Hexbane's Hunters, which I think was probably a given. I don't know the logic behind which warbands they picked or why, but I kind of figured like these would probably feature at the top of the list regardless of what the logic was.
Yeah, they're such a cool, iconic looking warband.
Yeah. So then we move on to the Chaos.
I've got a question. Will the cards in these 16 boxes be on the free PDF? I think the answer to that is nobody knows.
I think we do know, but we don't know for definite, possibly. So
I feel like we're leaning towards no, aren't we?
Yeah,
leaning towards no, but it hasn't been definitely confirmed.
So we then have for Chaos, we've got Kagra's Ravagers, it's a nice surprise to see them back. I think they were quite a nice warband that were just a bit poor and didn't do very well. So again,
I am disappointed the Shadeborn didn't get into the order thing because they were similar gorgeous looking models that nobody ever played.
Yes, yeah, but there's got to be
you've got to have kind of everything, yeah.
We've also then got Ephelim's Pandemonium, which I think they are a fantastic looking warband, so I'm glad they've kept in there.
Iconic as a game as well, I think.
And we've then also got the Dread Pageant. I think a lot of people were expecting the Thricefold to be in.
Well, of course, we didn't know what was coming today.
That's true, that is true. So
the Dread Pageant was a very pleasant surprise yesterday.
And I noticed that we then also had the Gorchos Drom. So we've got 4 major Chaos Gods in there.
Here we have. What an amazing coincidence, but no Skaven.
No Skaven. Well, we've got 3 major Chaos Gods in there, but we have 4 Chaos Gods. So we're missing Nurgle.
Oh, that's true.
And we are missing Skaven.
Yes.
Which both disappointed me somewhat.
Yes. I think, show of hands in the chat for those who would rather have had Garrick Reavers than Gorchos and Drom.
Me! And then we move on to Death. And Death, we've got the Headsmans. I guess they're quite iconic, but I could have done without them, to be honest.
I feel a bit like the Ghosts are all interchangeable to me. Or chosen number 1, said Adam Hill. No, Adam, you're wrong. Sorry.
Gore chose a load of number 2, as far as I'm concerned. Mickey Bell says Grandfather's Blessing. What's that all about? Hey, we don't know anything about that yet.
Isn't that what?
There's been chatter online
says,
about Grandfather's Blessings.
Height for the Purifiers 2, says Skylar. Yes, I'm looking forward to those.
Crimson Court, I think they were a must. They're a classic warband.
Yeah.
Then we've got Canaan's Reapers, which, again, they haven't featured a lot recently.
No, well, I have to say, though, I would happily have not seen them in the game. At the expense of Sepulchral Guard, which, of course, again, today we've discovered that Sepulchral Guard are in the game. Are the electro-shock coil ones in the game? I can't remember.
I don't know, we'll have to look at the next thing.
I feel like they're not. And the Greenwatch, I was very excited to see the Greenwatch, mainly because I've got a lovely little Greenwatch conversion, which I can now carry on using.
Yeah.
So I was quite pleased. And I have a soft spot for the Greenwatch. So obviously they're going to play, if not very differently, then they're not going to have temporary victory shenanigans that they used to have.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they change them.
No more for like best edition of Underworlds yet. Yeah, I'm tired.
I'm starting to feel that way.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. But
I think the biggest problem with Morphlight, apart from their oppressive overpoweredness most of the time, is the fact that you can't tell anything apart.
That is quite annoying. And I wonder if they've picked the warbands
Exile
they picked.
definitely not made it, Mickey said, for tournament play.
Thank you, Mickey. Yes, because they were probably a bit too early, weren't they?
Yes, I felt like they were, but I hadn't. One of those ones. Well, we'll talk about the article in a minute, but the article didn't name them, it just gave the symbols. So unless you remember to look up what the symbols were.
I think I would have rather seen Exile Dead over Canaan's Reapers 2, to be honest.
Canaan's Reapers 2.
They just look better than Canaan's Reapers. I've not really ever liked the Canaan's Reapers models, really.
I'm not a fan.
And then on to Destruction, we've got Grincrack's Loon Court.
So they were exiled.
Black Powder's Buckers. I'm quite surprised to see Black Powder, but I guess in light of the later announcement
I was really pleased to see them again because I think they're lovely models. They do offer something, although I'm not a massive Critter fan, they do offer a little bit different to a lot of the other warbands.
Yeah.
And, we hadn't got very many of the big dude warbands.
Yeah, there's not many, I guess.
And Hrothgorn didn't make it through, and at the time of writing, Mollog hadn't either.
And I wonder if, again, they're going for more warbands where there's lots of different models in it, and they're all, because I know we've got Gits now, but if you had to pick between Grincrack's Loon Court and the Gits for which one looks more sort of like iconic, I think Grincracks do. They've got a lot more chaos going on about them, whereas the Gits, it's like there's 2 squigs and there's 4 blokes with bows, and there's not a lot of difference.
I think in some ways they do sort of both embody the evolution of the game and the AOS models.
Yeah, that's true.
Obviously that's 5 years ago, the Gits, the original Gits.
Yeah.
And then Loon Court 5 years later, and you can see how the models have changed and how the look and style of the game has changed.
And then we've got the Cunning Crew. The Cunning Crew probably vie for one of the least played warbands we've ever had.
Yeah, but again, partly because they just felt underpowered all the time, although I know there are some people who could pilot them really well.
Yeah, when I say...
We're not one of those people.
But when I say underrepresented, I do, of course, mean by our two-man meta.
Local metal? Meta.
Metal! And then for the last one, we've got Morgoth's Crushers. I'm quite happy to see Morgoths.
Yeah, I'm not. They are amongst my least favourite models in the whole range.
I can see why they've picked them, because you've got the Iron Jaws, you've got the Cruel Boys, you've got Ogres, and then you've got Gits.
I think you see why you've got to have them.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
Because there's no head crackers in it, and there's no rippers.
No. I'd much rather see Gerzag back. But those models, I don't think have aged that well.
No, they're not as good, I don't think. So,
how many wounds is Morgoth going to have, though?
Oh, yeah, he's going to have hundreds.
How many wounds is Mollog going to have?
He's going to have hundreds too. 102.
102.
So then we come to the next bit where they say that all of these will be available in a box which has all of the cards in it. That's going to be a thick box, because there's going to be the war scrolls for all the warbands, there's going to be all the cards for all the warbands, and each box has about 20 models in. I think the Chaos one has about 16, but all the rest have like 20 or more models in.
It's going to be a chunky box. I'm really, really glad they're doing that one.
Yeah, I am. When I saw this, I was like, oh, thank God. The internet rage will subside slightly for a little while, but without that, I was afraid that I don't know what was going to happen otherwise.
No, I mean, I'm slightly concerned that I'm hoping it will stay in stock. There was some comment about it being
yeah, there was a thing
limited
about
release, but that's disappeared, which is encouraging.
it was somewhere down here, yeah, where it said that it would be limited release, so get it while you can.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not great language to use in an article where you're just announcing a new product. But they did get rid of it, and hopefully that's because it's no longer limited, rather than they just don't want to draw people to ire.
Yeah. Garrick, we've got a Garrick's over Gore chosen here, which I'm very pleased about from Dean. Because of Dragon says they also removed the thing about it being limited release of the card deck. Oh, that's yes. Yeah. Sorry.
So we've got a card pack coming out with the 16 warbands in, but obviously if you buy any of those boxes, the warband, it will come with the 4 warbands, and it will come with the warband cards.
Mark Murray says, to be fair, that box was needed to continue. There needs to be a path for existing players. I 100% agree with you, Mark, but that didn't mean that it was necessarily going to come. So I'm really pleased that it did.
Right, we're back on the screen, Robin.
Oh, okay.
Put your top back on. So yeah, I think that there was definitely a need for that.
I'm just going to say hello to Seth Levine, who said hello from Los Angeles.
What have I just done? I just clicked something and
Find
my
that quite
screen's gone.
exciting. What did you
there we
do?
go. I don't know
what did you do?
Something went very weird last time. I don't think it interrupted the stream at all.
Okay.
The screen's fine. We're all good. Hello, Seth Levine from Los Angeles of all places
Is
as
it
well.
warm
It's crazy.
there?
It's probably warmer than it is here. So, sorry, Sean put, as a massive Cruel Boys fan, for some reason I didn't read Cruel Boys and my brain immediately went, it's probably Lady Boys. So I just saw, as a massive Lady Boys fan, and then I sort of went,
you get in your
hang on,
comments
what?
when you're normally on the internet?
I mean, it's a good thing we're on the agent's machine, not my personal one. That's what I'm going to say. So, yeah, I don't know what people are thinking. Which one out of the 4?
Which box?
Which box of the 4 are people most likely to get out of? Order, Destruction, Chaos, and the other one, Death. So put an O.
Well, of course, a lot
Destruction.
of people here will have all of them.
Yeah, possibly. So put an O for Order, D for Destruction, a Skull for Death, and C for Chaos. And let's see what people say. Oh, you can type the whole thing out, I like, Bobby. I suppose you can type it all.
Order and Destruction. Too many happening.
Too many happening.
Your Underworlds. It spuns like. It sounds like.
It does.
There's a lot of. We've got some green.
Got some green.
From Goblin Twink.
I mean, if he's a Goblin Twink, it's very likely he's
Death. Mushrooms.
Mushrooms, death. I think that's Orcs mushrooms.
I have many of the models. If the cards are not sold per gram, could be more interesting. I think the cards will be a reasonable price.
I'm hoping so. I think if a box is going to be 60 quid, you're looking at a pack of. So what are we saying? There's 20 cards in a box. You're looking at about 85 to 90 cards. Maybe 30 quid, 20 quid to 30 quid.
I'm not even going to guess because I'm terrible at that sort of thing. Just the card box.
Just the card.
We'll be looking for just the card box too.
Just the card box for me, Mrs. Wembley.
All of the warbands.
Yes, yeah.
Some of them twice.
Yes.
R.I.P. Rippers. Yeah. No, I'm not sad about that.
It's funny because there's several warbands that aren't in it anymore, and certain people are like, oh, I've lost these, and they all get met with a load of people just going, oh, sorry.
I think if Rippers and Morgox had been in it, I think I'd have quit the game in a rage.
Oh, I bought everything. Jungle Cam says he's got 70% of the warbands, then it will just be the card pack for you then, I would expect, hopefully.
The box is the equivalent to a codex, so maybe similar pricing. And I'm guessing, for those who do have 70%, hopefully there's lots of people out there who have a different 70%, so then there's lots of 30% knocking around on eBay and you can pick up what you like.
Yeah, and that happened when they did the Mirrored City one.
Yeah.
There was lots of people, and I know some of them were people just buying the boxes to break them up to sell them for a bit of a profit. But I'm hoping there's going to be enough people online who are going to buy the box for 1 or 2 warbands and will sell the rest, that they'll keep the price down so the scalpers won't get in on it too much. And it's worth pointing out, sorry, Adam L's just also put he'll get the Grandfather's Gardeners.
What are the Grandfather's Gardeners?
There's a rumour going around that's one of the warbands. It's going to be a Nurgle warband called Grandfather's Gardeners.
My children's grandfather was a King Gardener, but I don't think that's what they're talking about.
No, I don't think so in this situation.
I don't think he was pestilent.
When thinking about the Kill Team cards, price €24, says David Christie. I mean, €24 might be a bit generous.
What was that for?
For the Kill Team cards.
For all of the Kill Teams, or what?
No, I don't think it was.
I don't follow Kill Team. It's too far into the future. So I don't know what exactly. I don't know what that you bought people, if you saw what I mean.
Yeah.
Like if that was like 4 cards, then €24 seems very extortionate. But if it was like 50 cards, then maybe it's more reasonable.
Joan Rick says the Warcry card packs were £12 each times 16 anyone. They're probably not going to be that bad, I'd hope. And they haven't got to produce loads of different ones because it's all the same text now.
We're up to 90 people. Call your friends.
Oh my God.
Get 10 people or people in, get to 100.
You're all awesome. Every one of you, thank you for joining us on this random chatting night. And if you are enjoying things, then do give us a thumbs up, like, subscribe and all that good stuff. Because we're terrible about asking, so I'm just going to try and say that when I think about it. I wonder if in those packs we're going to get all the different languages, like you did with Warcry. You just got like about 8 cards which had the Warcry stuff on. There'd be like the English and French and all the various languages. I can't think of any other languages, so I'm just going to stop there. So I wonder. No,
I'm going to go with no. I think they'll regionalise.
You think?
I don't know.
Because the character cards are all going to be generic, aren't they?
Yeah, but I'm getting myself confused. I was thinking of the decks.
Oh yeah, the decks. I'm just imagining a deck of 30 cards and 6 iterations of it. Yeah. So you're a box like that.
Yeah. Sorry.
25 quid, that's quite good. I can sell all these
That's
on
why
eBay.
Doing it live is more dangerous.
Yeah.
If we can edit out the stupid moments.
So I think we'll just get like half a dozen of the different languages that they produce it for in that box along with the character cards. So you're going to get 30 odd of them for all the different war scrolls.
Maybe, right.
And again, maybe that means that people might start selling those on eBay or just giving them away to people because you don't need them. So you never know.
Goblin Twink says he loves this channel.
Good, and we love you.
Sure, you're in the right chat. But that's very kind of you. Thank you very much.
So that was the first announcement, and I think it's fair to say that quite a few people were very happy with that. Quite a few people were shocked by that. I think we were both equally quite.
Yeah, I was amazed about the card. Well, not amazed, but I was amazed with the Warband selection, which now has become a bit more clear why they chose those.
Yeah.
But I wasn't amazed because I hoped against all hopes that they would do the card box, and I'm really pleased that they have. So that's really good.
Yeah.
Glenn Griffin has asked, any idea how much the Grand Alliance boxes will cost? More than the starter set? I think it could be in the same region. Because the Mirror City was a very similar price, wasn't it?
Yeah, because what was the last starter box? It was about 65 quid or something? Obviously less if you went to an LFTS or whatever.
67.50, I think.
Okay, so you look about 65 quid. I mean, the last time they did one of the 4 Warband boxes was the Mirrored City one.
Was that a bit less?
And I think that was 60 quid. Yeah, I think that was 60 from GW, so...
I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
It will be...
And I know people might say, oh, well, that's... Even if you go to a second-hand store, an LFGS, that's 50 quid a box, that's £200. But that would be 16 Warbands. That would be a lot of things to play with if you don't have them. So...
€85, Jungle Camper says.
I can't do euros. What's that in...
The pound's quite strong at the moment, so that's...
what's that in Empire pounds?
We're on holiday next week, and it was very exciting to discover that the pound wasn't utterly crap like it's been for the last God knows how long.
Shall we build a big see-through wall in Nottingham and put all of our magic dice in them?
To show glass whoever made that decision.
These magic dice, I rolled them like the other day. I was like, I don't want to need these anymore, so I rolled them dismissively into the box, and I got a double crit.
I got backlash.
I got backlashed. So yeah, that was their final finger up to me.
Which warbands are you saddest not to see in the boxes?
Yes.
Shadeborn.
Yes, let us know in the boxes.
Well, here's somebody who asked that. Bobby Humphrey has asked that, but I would say Shadeborn. I think I thought they were a shoe-in.
I need to bring up the second best website ever.
What's the best?
Pornhub.
I nearly said that as a joke.
Warcom's the best, obviously, and then Underworlds DB is a very close second. So let's have a look on Warcom. So what have we got?
Spirit Pack.
For order, warbands that I'm sad not to see.
Oh, Spirit Pack. Yeah. No, Eyes of the Nine. I had no expectation there would be Eyes of the Nine. So I'm not... Skaeth, I am quite sad there's no Skaeth. But Shadeborn more, because I played Skaeth more.
I can't think of... I think order-wise, I think it would be Arenai for me, because we've got no Daughters of Cain warbands now. And I quite like the Arenai.
I actually wondered... I've got a little theory about that. Only that... I mean, it's not really much of a theory. But people have been theorising...
They might do new ones.
Exactly. People have been theorising that the rumours are a Nurgle warband a Lizardman warband.
Yeah.
And this Daughters of Cain Witch Coven.
There's
warband, which I don't even know what they are.
There's the Witch Coven
Yeah.
warband, and there's the Flame Seekers warband.
Okay, well I don't know what. Yeah, Flame Seekers.
So, yeah.
But so I kind of feel like the fact that those three are missing from the choices would perhaps lend credence to those rumours.
Yeah, I think that's why a lot of people are saying the Crones and the Flame Seekers, because there aren't either of those represented in Underworlds.
Right. Fire Slayers.
Yeah. So Chosen Axes, basically. I'd say out of the
But
order.
they're barely represented anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean,
They're very small. They don't need a lot of representation.
But the Daughters of Cain, we obviously lost 2 warbands.
Yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, I feel like that to me lends some credence to that.
could be.
I'm forgetting the Fire Slayers.
So I think for order-wise, I think the ones that I'm missing most would either be Chosen
Mark
Axes.
would love a 3 elf
Harrenhal.
Muselai warband, which I'm not really. I'm sort of more of a toast guy than.
Okay, Destruction warbands. What are we sad not to see in the box for Destruction? Someone's already said Headcrackers, I think, and I can sort of appreciate why they're not in there anymore, because there isn't a Headcrackers faction.
Yeah, I actually have been touting Headcrackers and Despoilers just to completely disappear. But it did say in the Warcom article today, and admittedly Warcom aren't particularly consistent, it did say that all, for the first time it said all
It did
warbands
say
would
all,
get cards.
and it could be someone just misinterpreting some notes
Yes.
that they made, and it should say nearly all, at least, but all.
Most. Yeah, so who knows?
Adam L is saying that for Destruction he's going to miss Hrothgorn.
Really? No.
Wasn't a massive fan of the Hrothgorn model.
No.
He was unfortunately released the same time as Wormspat, which means I was never going to look at him.
Never. It was like that meme.
Yeah, basically.
Staring at Fecula's arse.
Yeah. Death-wise, I think the one I'm most sad to not see there is Exiled Dead, I think. I can't think of another warband that I wanted to see. Exiled Dead, I think, was the only one.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Skinnerkin, but not over the Grimwatch. So,
But the Skinnerkin are still going to be available, aren't they?
Yeah, but they're not in the boxes, which is what we're asking.
No,
Quite
they're
a
not.
lot of people are mentioning that, like things that are available.
But I think GW will just, hopefully, for the stuff over the last year or so that they're still keeping in, they'll just keep that stocked. They'll still keep that available.
I don't know. Yeah, that's what I don't understand GW's distribution, because
Are they?
one
Are
of
they
our
gonna...
supporters who runs a game shop said you can no longer order those stuff.
Yes, that's true.
But I don't know whether it will reappear. But yeah, it's an interesting one there. I'm guessing there's still stock on the shelves. So for people, so people can sell that out. They've kept it valid.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be good if for people who still have a box of Exiled Dead or some Wintermoor or something like that, who, they sell that, and if they can't get more of it in, we're going to end up right back where we did before.
That is what I'm worried about. I'm going to be interested to see how quickly they rotate. But I also see the point that you probably want people...
Hopefully not too fast, they get dizzy.
People who have bought, like particularly in this case of the Mirrored City box, that's literally less than 6 months old.
Yeah.
And so to say, oh, sorry, that's not valid anymore would be shite. Even if you can't buy it now, to say, oh, sorry, it's not valid. And preferably people have barely played it.
Mistake here, Paul K says that he's missing 5 of the reprinted warbands spread across all 4 boxes. Awkward. Yeah. I mean, hopefully you'll be able to get them on eBay because other people buy them and sell the bits they don't want, and that'll include some of the ones you do want. So
that would be good.
So yes, Jason, we are going to come on to the other one in a moment. We're doing them in order. So so for Chaos, what Chaos warband that's missing are you sad to see go? Eyes? Realistically.
Okay.
Not Spirit Pack?
No.
No?
Didn't like them.
No.
Godsworn Hunt!
Yeah.
I would much rather have had a new Godsworn Hunt, because again, they are beautifully dynamic models. Some of them are anyway.
Well, we might see a Godsworn Hunt in the nearest future, because obviously they're doing the new
Dark Oath.
Yeah, the new Dark Oath, and they're doing a new spear head box for Dark Oath.
Well,
maybe.
I would much rather have seen, because Nars Spirit Pack had their day and everybody played them because they were so bloody strong.
Yeah.
So I would have liked to have seen the Dark Oath represented by Godsworn Hunter, who were basically shit from day one, get a little bit of a boost, and get to use those lovely models and Grawl.
Sean Valjean says he's always like the Thorns, the Bride Queen. Well, they're going to be out again, so you'll be fine, because they're out in the Rival of Mirrored City.
His roommate's cat chewed the Bride Queen model. It would have been good to get a reprint. I don't know whether you will find one of those on eBay.
What, just the Bride Queen?
Well, the the models? Because they obviously must be quite a lot of models sloshing around because a lot of people just bought the box for the cars.
Yeah, and you know there'll still be Rise of the Mirrored City boxes. I think still going around.
I think so.
I guess the only problem GW have is if they keep these things in stock, they're going to be selling plastic and cards, and the cards aren't.
Yeah, I think they will just basically it's for selling through. I don't think they're going to make any more.
And so I guess
you can still get Mirrored City in Heart FLGS. There's a heart over the chat.
I don't know why there's stupid hearts there still.
Okay.
I think for me, Scabix is the Chaos Warband I would like to have seen. So
some was the word, hidden word.
You can get it someplace.
They were in a part works as well, so there's plenty kicking around. So there you go.
Yeah.
Whoever it was who said it, I've lost who it was. Was it Jason?
No, I think it was Jason.
Sean. Hopefully you can find it.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can find it.
We're up to 100 people. Well, we were up to 100 people. We're down to 93 now. So.
Boo. Somebody didn't like your take on whatever it was.
Best websites. Right. So now, talk a minute, Robin. I'm just going to try and sort this out. So I can make sure
you can't do that to me.
Yeah, I can. Talk to people in the chat.
Sean has always been iffy on ordering second-hand online. I'm sure.
Sean has?
Yeah.
Why is Sean been iffy at ordering stuff online?
He just says. And then it says, but the heart's in the way, so I can't read it.
I see.
But I have to say, I said a few things second.
What was that noise?
Second. Fuck off. A few things online, and I'm trustworthy, but unfortunately I don't have any spare Briar Queen, otherwise I'd tell you one. I can't get this to zoom to the right setting that I want. Zoom. So, and the players dropping the game because of 2.0 will be selling as well. Will they, Johan?
I think some will.
Yeah, no, I don't think they will.
won't.
I think most of them will be crying into their cornflakes and then just keeping everything carrying on playing second edition.
Yeah, they probably
There you
will.
go, that's my hot take of the day. And Adam L has got a spare Briar Queen, so maybe you two could talk. I don't know if you're in the same continent or not, but maybe you two could talk and exchange. Adam is a straight up guy. Just be careful he doesn't fall over and break it before he sends it to you.
Yeah.
Sound around says, I feel like anything from Weird Hollow on should be legal.
That's 2 years.
Yeah.
That's 2 years.
I kind of feel like that. It's not, is it? It's just the last year, isn't it? But where do you draw the line, I suppose?
No, because Weird Hollow's 2 years old.
Are any of them
well,
really
over a year old?
No, but Weird Hollow isn't legal. Sorry, they've actually chosen to do it from Death Gorge, haven't they?
Yes, and I agree. I don't think that they should make.
It's tricky.
Wherever you cut it off, you're going to annoy someone. So you can't have
any
it
of them
both
really
ways.
dropping?
What do we mean dropping? Really dropping?
I don't know. That was a question from Mickey Bell. Sorry, Mickey. You might have to be a little bit more specific. Adam says LOL. That must be my hilarious thing about him falling over. Maybe that's why they don't want to release in 2 different boxes. Yeah, I think so. For any new players, how many warbands are you comfortable with in entering the environment? Now, I don't know. I was going to talk about this. I don't know whether to do it now.
Let's do the other one because then that brings us fully up to speed,
So,
and then we can talk about
Mark, ask that question when we finish talking about this page, because I have some thoughts about the number of warbands that should be in the game.
So,
did GW pay us? No, they did or might. They do occasionally send us a box.
Proximus,
but they don't pay us.
No, they don't pay us. We don't get a penny. We do get plastic crack.
I don't know whether you're suggesting that's because we're shills and we're bigging up this game that's obviously shite, or whether you're just genuinely interested. So, which one of those are you?
So tell us.
Quite a lot of people in the latter category have been. Sorry if I was a bit aggressive there. But quite a lot of people have been accusing us of that in the last 24, 48 hours.
Yeah. and yes, we get sent stuff, but they've sent us stuff for games that we don't even play. In fact, there was a period of time. No, we play all GW. But there was a period of time where we weren't very hot on Underworlds, and we'd said that we weren't playing Underworlds, and they were still sending us Underworlds, and we still unboxed it and did reviews on it and talked about it. So
I mean, it's one of those things. Content providers is definitely they get sent stuff, and but we have put hours and hours and hours and hours. It is not worth it.
No,
as an hourly rate in plastic, it is not worth the amount of time we spend talking about it. Writing about it.
I make less than minimum wage by a very large margin.
Comfortably.
We don't even make like double-digit numbers on a video that we put out, and that takes us hours.
Puts hours and hours and hours.
It's a good thing I don't have a life.
Doing the editing, and things like the tournaments we run, we occasionally break even, but we have lost money on them by the time we've done the prizes. So we do this because we love it.
Anybody wants to come to it in the South East England, if you're around, we're up to 30. No, we're up to 23.
23. I've expanded it. It's got now 32 spaces available. Yeah, so we do it because we love it, and I guess if we are biased, it's because we desperately want second edition to be successful.
Yeah.
Because we really love the game, and if it's not, then it will die. If and if it didn't make it, it would die. So we want it to be good.
And we don't know what we're going to play if it dies. So.
And I still, for all the crap talk about it, I still maintain that all the people at Games Workshop didn't sit around a table for a year and a half, or however long these things take to develop, and go, let's make this really shit.
Yeah.
That's what I'd like to do with my job. Let's make it as crap as possible.
Frucht Bears Gaming says, good evening, guys. Turning in, how much of my old Warhammer Underworld stuff can I use? Well, we're just about to cover all of what's going to be.
Yeah, so listen up, because we're just going to cover it now.
This channel has sucked me into... all I saw was this channel has sucked, and I was like, oh, well, don't hold back. But it sucked him into fans to the side of Warhammer.
Excellent.
You've concerted effort? Converted. I know
Converted,
what you meant.
yeah, okay.
Right, let's talk about the next article. So today, and by the way, anybody at GW who's in charge of organising the timings on stuff, your timing has been impeccable.
Yes.
For your Underworlds releases.
So thanks for that, because normally it's
like a Thursday night or something, we don't have a chance.
But
Monday's great.
Perfect.
Tuesday's also good.
Mondays and Tuesdays, please. GW, Mondays and Tuesdays.
So, here is the next one. So, this is the article they released today, which is how they're going to be organising competitive play.
It says congratulations on our numbers in the Red Hill event.
Yes, it's
pretty
fantastic.
great, considering how it's kind of like we're in a transition phase. I'm really pleased with how numbers we've got. I'm hoping we can do one fairly soon into the new year with a new edition and get even more people.
Even more! But of course, we need to know what's going to be going on with the tournament boxes. Because I want to know what lovely prizes we're going to be able to give people. So anyway, the other article that they released just today will now shed even more light on things. So we're just going to go through the spiel, blah, 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 blah. But then they give us this fantastic little honeycomb of warbands. How many warbands can everyone name? If you say all of them, you're a lie, because 2 of them have got question marks.
2. This diagram slightly does my head in.
I think if GW really wanted to show off their website chops, they could have had it so every time you hovered over one of these, it told you who it was. And we're not going to run through them all, but we're going to try and point out the ones that aren't.
Reminds me of the adventure game.
We're going to, we'll try and go through all the ones that have been added
Blockbusters.
on top of, definitely blockbusters for me.
Yeah. 33
of the, I think there's more than 58 Jungle Camper, because he says 33 of 58. Isn't there more than 58 now? Are we in 60s?
33. 58 seems to be the number I hear banding around. So I've got to go with it. I haven't counted them up. Obviously, GW has no website chops.
So we're going to quickly run through the ones that are in here that weren't in those 16 that they've already talked about, that we've already mentioned. So now we've got to play spot them. Yeah. So we know that there's
the first ones were the Mirror Titty. That's the easiest. So the Mirror Titty was in these extra warbands, which is I am really pleased that it is, because I was thinking on this live chat tonight I was going to have to be saying, yeah, it really sucks that GW's bought that out and then haven't supported it, and then it's now gone. So it hasn't. So that's really great.
Yep. So we've got Gits, we've got the Briar Queen, the Thorns, we've got Mologs, and we've got Scritch with his triple bagel. Possibly, I think, the worst symbol in all of Underworlds.
Baguette?
It's a triple baguette, yeah. It's the worst symbol in all of Underworlds.
Twice-crossed baguette.
Exactly. It's terrible. We've also got the Sepulchral Guard, because they were in the core box, the starter box. Yeah. And 2 starter boxes, in fact. 1 starter box with Condemners, which is off to the right. That confused the hell out of me, because I think that's a US only, or maybe US and Germany only. Yeah. It's a Barnes and Noble release.
Yeah, so I kind of like, what are they doing here? So they're the only other Stormcast release, other than the ones in the core box. Yeah. The new core box. And then also on the front, either side. Oh, they're not 3 Stormcasts, are they? Because there's 2 Starcasts. So ignore that.
So 3 Stormcasts in total. Yeah. One of the very first, almost.
Yeah.
One that came out midway, and then the most recent.
US, Germany, Austria, yes.
So we've got those 3, but they've also released, and they do mention it down here, so there's going to be 33 in total. There's going to be 13 extra warbands. Basically, it's going to be all of the things that were bought in the last few months. Now, they say last few months, but it's like the last year, I think it is. Yeah,
it's basically everything from Death Gorge onwards.
Yes.
So you've got your Thricefold Discord, your Sirenes Razors.
So Thricefold's here, we've got Sirenes Razors there, we've got the... I can never remember the names. It's the Gravebreakers, Zondar's Gravebreakers.
Oh yeah, Zondar's
there.
Gravebreakers, and there must be the Brethren of the Bolt must be in there somewhere too.
That's Brethren of the Bolt over here.
Yeah.
We've got the Skinnerkin up there.
Yeah.
And I can't think of who else we're missing. Oh, we've got the those
Stab
orcs that
lads.
no one cares about.
Step lads.
Yeah, bless them, Stab
Yeah,
lads.
I think that's everything.
I
is it?
think that's all of them. I think that's everything at that
Yeah.
point. So we've covered the 4, the other 3 is 7, and then the 4 from the box is 11,
Yeah.
and
So,
then the other 2.
So that's taken us to 33, and actually I was really quite pleased that they had done that,
Yeah,
because it is. I thought there were some odd decisions in not having some of those in the original 16 or the initial 16. However, I was also looking forward to there not being absolutely shed loads of available warbands in the official tournament play.
yeah. So
And I feel like 33 is too many. Sorry, you want to say something else?
I was just going to say, before we talk about what's a suitable number, there were some questions around prices. We don't know what the prices are going to be like on these yet. Obviously, I think a lot of the 13 other ones they've announced, it'll just be a case of whatever you can get them for, because we've said we don't think GW are going to be re-releasing. We might be wrong, but we don't think they're going to be re-releasing the Thricefold Discord and Curry's Razors and stuff separately.
Not straight away, anyway.
Because
we had the roadmap, didn't we?
Yes.
The roadmap.
Steve Keane says that he completely forgot Stab Lads were a thing even, yeah. I think a lot of us did.
Is the £35 Barnes & Noble starter box still worth it? Possibly. It might be worth waiting till because they're going to be PDFs, aren't they?
Yes.
So it might be worth waiting to see whether you like the PDF.
Yeah.
And if you do, then yes, buy them. Otherwise, wait.
Move this out and get that gone again. So you're basically going to have your 16 warbands in 4 boxes of 4, and you can either buy them to get the fighters and the cards, or you'll be able to buy a box that just has all of the cards in for those 16. You then got these other 13 warbands
where you've got 2 and 2. Got the 2 new ones in the Underworlds box, and the 2 new ones that they haven't announced yet. So that's 20.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
But then you've got the other 13 that
everything since Death Gorge.
Yeah, all of those ones, they're going to be doing PDFs of those. You're not going to get anything else. Someone said something about a microphone. Someone says the microphone sounds fine. I don't know if it's yours, because then somebody else said that my microphone sounds fine.
Okay.
If you're only listening in one ear, we have got it on stereo. So you have to have both ears, and you do have to listen to it in stereo. So, yeah, sorry about that. Joseph Bingman says that we are killing it with the watch number since second edition. And we are really, really, really happy with that as well. Yeah, I haven't got it on mono. So
33, but 2 are gits, so 31 really. There's going to be a fight between Trefnox and the it's called Goblin Twink.
Goblin Twink.
There's going to be a fight in the comments.
So, yeah, where was I going? So you're going to have the 16 warbands with the boxes. You can buy the cards in one set, or you'll get the cards in the boxes. The other 13 warbands that they brought out since, you're going to have to download the PDFs for them. Now, I know there are some people... And
Pete needs to talk louder. That's never the case.
It's never ever the case. I suspect that somebody doesn't have one of their headphones in.
Sorry, somebody said they need a Gargant band warband. I totally read that as they need a garage band.
Now, some people I've seen online are really annoyed by the fact they might have to download and print them out, and other people are really annoyed by the fact that they're not going to get cards to buy. So it's like this, just a clear example of how GW can't win, whatever they do.
You can play none of the games any of the time.
Yeah, exactly. So you will get the PDFs, you will be able to download them. They have said, and they did say in that article they released today, that all warbands will get PDF rules from day one. But then they would be rotating out as many as they could. They'd be rotating them in with, we assume, a re-release in a box with cards or something like that you could purchase. But they were, again, a little bit sketchy around which ones that would be. So, I don't know if we've got any other
Protean Fabricator, he's got off. Protean Fabricator was in our last stream quite a lot, but he's just said that he was sorry he's late. And could we start again? I'm afraid we can't start again, but do feel free to just jump in and go back and watch it later.
As mentioned, if you are enjoying this, do give us a thumbs up, because it really does help, and do follow us. Ring the bell and all that good stuff, because then you'll see all the new stuff that we announce.
Raphael Perez is annoyed that there's no Chosen Axes and no Gods Will Hunt, but of course they will be playable, just not in tournament play.
Yes, and again, that's only official tournament play. So some people might run tournaments and say, you know what, bring whatever the hell you like.
Yeah, I was thinking we're less likely to do that now.
We're up to 110.
Because there are 33.
Fantastic.
33 warbands is a lot.
Yes.
So we're less likely to do that now. 110.
Now that was a question someone asked earlier, wasn't it? Which, for everybody now, post in the chat what your ideal number of current warbands, legal sort of tournament warbands is. You can give a range if you want, because I said I think 20 to 30 before.
A few people have thrown in that they threw in earlier, sort of around 30 as a top limit. Yeah, I was thinking 30 would be my upper limit. It'll be interesting to see whether they rotate out fast. Somebody said 60, because the thing with 33 is that it's 33. It
doesn't even divide by anything but 11 and 3 for a start.
As of today, but like shortly soon there'll be 35.
Yeah.
And then we haven't actually gone through the roadmap. We should go through the roadmap at some point.
Okay, I'll look at the roadmap.
Yeah, and then there'll be 37, and then it'll be 41. This is already doing me. Why are we going by twos on the odd numbers, GW?
Yeah, that does do my head in a little bit. And yes, they're going to be releasing stuff. And whilst I'd like to see a lot of old warbands, at some point I want to see new warbands. So I don't want old and new warbands all coming out at the same time.
The roadmap went away, didn't it? No, there's a new one, isn't there?
I mean, maybe it did. I'm sure that there was...
No, it wasn't on there. It was in yesterday's post.
Oh, that's a good point. I think it did go away.
Has it gone away?
I think it has.
Wasn't that it there?
I'm just looking.
No, that's today's post.
Yeah.
Darling.
Sorry, dear. Who driver am I?
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I know. That's in the...
Underworld roadmap, it says.
I know it's in the thumbnail.
I know, but why weren't you clicking on it? That's weird.
Yeah, it's gone.
That's weird.
That's disappeared. Oh, tinfoil hat time. Why did it disappear? Did they misreport something?
Nick.
What's going on, Nick?
Have you seen that somebody's stolen your roadmap?
So there was a roadmap.
Going to get lost.
that said we were going to get 2 more warbands this year and 2 more rivals decks.
Yeah.
And then next year, over the course of that year, we were going to get 3 more warbands and 3 more...
all for the same core box, it said. It was very clear saying there weren't going to be any more core boxes.
All the way through, which I do like.
Nick says it wasn't him. Did you get peckish, Nick? Be honest.
Have you eaten some of it?
Have you eaten the roadmap?
Did you have a bite or two? Sorry. That's a coding joke. It's not. So, Big Ol' Mini says... So looking at the numbers quickly, sorry, I'll come back to that. So we're getting quite a range of numbers. There's obviously some people who want to see everything available, and there are some other people who are just giving us silly numbers like 2. But then we're getting more like 20s, 30s, that kind of range. And I feel like if we get much above 30, we very quickly get to that point again where it gets hard to balance. And I know we like to joke that Games Workshop don't do balance, they just release stuff. But I feel like you're going to hit a critical mass on warbands where it's just like, you could have the Stab Lads, or you could take like any of the other better Orc warbands.
Nico said, which is a valid point, they wasn't a roadmap, it just had 24 and 25, 2024 and 2025 written on it. That's just dates. They're just years, not dates. That's kind of true, but it kind of gave us an indication of what was coming. But
it at least showed that, you know, over the next year you're going to get 5 more warbands and 5 more rivals decks. So that, it was just nice to see that.
Yeah.
And that's about as roadmappy as GW gets.
Yeah.
So, I personally wouldn't like to see more than about 30 odd. But at the same time, I am looking at that and thinking, oh, I'd like to have this warband, I'd like to have that warband. So what I'm really saying is I'd like to have 30 of the warbands that I like. Which, obviously, is probably what most people think. So 10 per Grand Alliance wouldn't be so bad.
No, that is true. I could live with 40.
Yeah,
but 8 would work just as well.
Would it
32?
Would it though? Oh, 8 per war. Just 8 warbands.
No. 8 per Grand Alliance.
Yeah.
I just feel like because we know they're going to keep releasing warbands, and so then either you have to rotate some out so that the number gets too big, or you let the number get big. But maybe it'll be okay.
Trefnalik says that the way the warbands are designed, with the war scrolls are designed, he doesn't think balance will be an issue between warbands or between decks. That might be true. There might not be quite so many broken.
Say something similar.
Yeah, there might not be the broken combinations there of, oh, if I take, you know, I can't remember a name now, but the Mournflight. If I take the Mournflight and I take this deck, then the objectives have such a synergy between the two that I just don't have to try. I can just score everything. So maybe, yeah, you won't have that so much. And it will be easier, and they have said, this was buried in one of the articles, but they did say quarterly they were going to give us updates.
Yeah.
So
Mark
that's
Reynolds
nice
points out that 8 would give 2 for each playstyle.
That's true.
Interesting. I don't know how much the playstyles. I know they gave them those in the articles, but I don't know how true they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know whether actually, because I feel like people, whatever happens, people will adapt them and play them however they want, and they will find combinations which are, if not broken, then at least efficient.
One thing that I did find quite funny.
Anthony Goodman agrees with Trefnox. Was that about Gits?
Gits.
Trefnox said something else in the meantime. Oh no, the newer Warbands are designed. I think it's about it's that one. Yes, yeah. I think there's definitely true there. Definitely true there.
We haven't seen yet any kind of information about how those 4 warband styles, if they actually have any impact when you combine like a take and hold warband with a take and hold deck. Is there some kind of special synergy there?
I assume it's just that
or is it just we've designed this warband to be good at this,
I think
and this deck is around that thing?
I don't think there's any bonuses around.
Because I know somebody was sort of complaining along going, I don't like this, I don't want to be told how to work it out. It's like, but you don't have to pay attention to it. You can do what you want to do still, but it's great for newer players to come in and you go, oh, what kind of thing do you want to do? Oh, I want to play objectives. Oh, I want to smash people in the face.
There was a Warcom article a long time ago that said that the Wormspat were really good at holding objectives, and that was patently bollocks.
Absolute trash.
So just go your own way and do whatever you want. And this is kind of like, oh, this is a flex warband. Well, it could, if it's a flex warband, this is an easy choice, but it's a flex warband, that probably means it can do either thing with a bit of tinkering with the cards. Clues in the name.
The one I still can't figure out. 3 of them make absolute sense to me. Like, you've got the aggro warband, you've got the flex warbands, you've got the objective holding warbands. Those all make absolute sense to me. But then you've got the mastery warband.
Yeah, what are they going to look like?
Because the mastery decks, it's like the first one we've got the countdown to cataclysm.
Yeah,
the countdown to cataclysm.
Yeah, do we know much about that? I can't remember what actually know.
Yeah, they released the thing about all the 4 decks.
Yeah.
So we know we've got the countdown to cataclysm. But how could a warband be really good at a deck's special ability? That's what confused me. Because if they release another deck with a plot card that's a mastery deck, but that one's around killing people, how's a warband that's good around one thing going to be good at something that could be completely... That's the one that really breaks my brain.
Interesting to know what shenanigans... Yeah, you kind of feel like a warband will have some shenanigans, but it won't get necessarily going to go with all mastery shenanigans.
Exactly. It's like I can understand mastery decks, because a mastery deck is basically a deck with some kind of plot cardy twist thing. That makes sense to me. You've got all of the different decks we've had recently, rivals for that. But a mastery warband, that just feels like a flex warband.
So I've got quite a few comments here. I'm going to deal with Steve Keane. Mastery decks are just mixes of the other 3, right? Well, not really.
No.
As far as we know, the new mastery deck, which I've got Countdown to Cataclysm, is completely different. I can't remember exactly what it said about it.
Yeah, let me see if I can find the article about
Agro's Zarbag, Metacool. Sean Valjean, sorry, I can't read. As someone from the outside, I'd say that only make what is available to purchase legal. There is nothing more infuriating in a competitive game than not being able to get your hands on the best stuff. Yes, and I think this is really important for how GW do the rotation, which obviously we don't really know anything about yet.
Yeah.
Because I think they're obviously the 13 is obviously a nod to the fact that, as we've said already, a lot of that stuff is in the system, and so it would be unreasonable to say, well, actually, we're not going to have it in. But sooner rather than later, it's not going to be in the system.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like maybe after 6 months they can say, right, well, you've had your fun with that now. And if you haven't had your fun with that, then tough. And we're going to rotate it out. That's what I would like to see. Will we or not? I don't know. Yeah.
So just to quickly show it, so the Countdown to Cataclysm has a plot card which has this counter thing where you can build it up, and it says that many of the cards in this deck increase in potency with your Cataclysm value, and so you're going to have cards that are going to increase it. It's a bit like the what was that deck they brought out in Gnarlwood? It was the
somebody says Parasite will be mastery. Yeah, Parasite or Explorer, the Explorer one.
That was it. Yeah, the Daring Delver. So it's that kind of thing. So, but just because a warband's good at the Daring Delver's deck doesn't mean it's good at necessarily the Parasite deck. So
no,
that's the one for me. Warbands that are that sort of way inclined.
Counter the Catalan is mostly about disruption. It's keeping your opponent from standing on objectives after all. Yeah, true.
It may be, but
will they all be like that? I can't say they'd all be like that. Otherwise,
No.
the playing experience for them will be
very samey.
But yeah, wouldn't. Yeah, well, I don't care about that then.
No.
Because it's
So that's one that really confuses me. But yeah, anyway, it is what it is. So
we are where we are.
Exactly, we are where we are.
Adam says anyone who's played other strategy games knows that the recommended deck builds are never stuck to once the decks get worked out. 100%. Yeah. 100%.
Exactly, and the thing that I like now about the way the game is, and I know a lot of people are really knocked about the loss of Warband decks, but this way means that the GW have a lot less balancing to fight with.
Yeah.
They don't have to worry about what cards they're bringing out in what decks and how that's going to clash with other decks, and then they can't, because they can't limit the Warbands cards, so they have to limit the deck cards, so then that breaks the deck for everybody. So this way they can limit the deck cards, and it does the same thing for everyone.
Yeah, but what it'll be interesting to see is whether they do, touch on something else as well, whether they do War Scroll updates.
Yeah.
And if they do War Scroll upgrades, whether they and then make those available as PDF printouts, and therefore will that mean that everything in the card box will get a PDF because it has to have one because they've edited it?
I suspect the fighter cards won't get altered as much. But
No,
maybe
I don't
the
think
War
so.
Scrolls
No, I think
might.
with the War Scrolls. Yeah.
That was another thing that reminded me about how GW just can't win.
No.
Because they put in their article, they were like, we're going to do quarterly balances, and so which is what everybody's wanted for a long time. We want regular balances. So the first thing that people said when they announced, they were like, oh great, so all my cards are going to become useless. What can they... I just... Aside from them actually going, okay, we're going to reprint them all.
We're going to come round to your house with new cards.
We're going to give them out to everyone for free and just burn a big pile of money.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, you've got to say, okay, this is the best situation you could have. I think, like you've said, the best scenario for them is to then release the PDFs to say, we made an update, here's the new PDFs. As long as they do that, you can't complain at that point.
I think so. I think they have to do it that way. Because it will be really annoying if you've got the cards and you have to somehow mark them or tag them or whatever. So hopefully they will do PDFs.
And so we just want a cheap, perfectly balanced, complete, complex but simple game with no flaws. And we want it, like you say, incredibly cheap. That's the main thing.
Complex but simple.
Hey, John. And I don't think it's worth us getting back into that argument again about,
John thought it was club now. I hope you haven't just got in from the club. Club night was last week, John.
I'm not going to get back into that debate again about simplifying something doesn't make it simple, nor does it make it dumbed down by making it accessible.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is a very tight line for GW to try and follow on that kind of thing.
With just stats and symbols on the fight cards, it seems like a big... this heart is really annoying.
Yeah, you can see it on their beer. Seems like a big win for balancing passes as they can just target the War Scroll. Exactly.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's going to be...
I think when GW first came out, when you think back to Shadespire, you had fighter cards.
It's not when GW first came out.
No, when GW first came out with Shadespire,
okay.
They had fighter cards that were very simple. They had fighter abilities that were very simple. You had card decks that were mostly very simple to the point of being a bit crap in some situations. And everything got more complex and more complex and more complex. And it got to that point where I think something had to happen with it because it just got too complex to balance.
We've got somebody disagreeing with you.
Who's that?
Ariciel says, why does everything need to get oversimplified? There are enough easy-to-play games. Why suck the competitive soul out of Underworlds?
Who said the competitive soul was sucked out of Underworlds, though?
Yeah, I don't understand. Yes, I don't. That's what I don't understand. The complexity equals more competitive. I don't really get.
No, and I think that was highlighted when.
Spin some. Sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, I think when Championship made way for Nemesis, people didn't stop going to tournaments. In fact, if anything, there were more tournaments happening because people were like, "Oh, actually, I can do this."
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Yeah, maybe there were some more people in those tournaments who were like, "I don't really care if I win. I'm just here to have some fun." But I'd rather play with a room full of 30 people who are all there to have fun than 30 people like, I'm going to win this because I've taken all the broken combos and I'm just going to beat everybody.
This is a slightly doesn't quite work, this metaphor. But somebody was moaning about the Olympic Games and saying the Olympic Games was ultra competitive and that was much better than simple Underworlds. Not so. If somebody else can mix their metaphors, I'm going to. There is nothing uncompetitive about the 100 metres race final in the Olympics. And it's pretty simple. It's run from A to B.
As fast as you possibly can.
So I feel like simple doesn't mean it can't be competitive.
And, as we always do, look at chess. It's one of the simplest games in the world, and it's also probably
competitive.
Yeah, probably one of the most competitive games
because just
ever.
Exactly that, yeah.
Just about so, yeah, exactly. And I know people get bored when you drag out the chess metaphor, but that's because it's a massive example
of why we're
simple,
right. No, I mean...
Well, it's a massive example of why just because something's simple doesn't mean it's easy.
No.
Because it's simple for everybody, which means everybody has the same level of chance.
Yeah. Yes, I think that's the thing. I think that's what the complex guys... sorry, I'm not getting at you, RCL. I feel like the complex guys think... I'm good at this game because I can hold all the different combos in my head and I can do all the math and whatever. And that's why it's good. But that's not. I mean, and obviously that is partly how you get good at chess as well. But that's a game, but it doesn't necessarily make it a competitive game.
And what's important here is that GW need to make something that works for more people. And I remember somebody posted somewhere quite a stupid take, which was, we don't need to worry about getting more people into the game, we need to worry about the quality of people that we have in the game.
Yeah.
Absolute bollocks.
Yeah.
Total bollocks.
That's the worst take I've seen the whole of this saga.
It was like, do you think GW are going to keep a game going that's got 10 really good players in it? Nonsense. So yeah, I'm sorry, it doesn't hold any water with me, I'm afraid. And I get somebody said about alienating some of the audience, and yes, some people who really like Championship and really like 101 rules aren't going to like this version, but GW can't keep everybody happy, so they're going to have to go for the majority of people.
Yeah, because actually the game thrives. It actually gets better if more people are playing it.
Yeah.
It's more competitive because you'll get better people playing, and people will get better because they can play more.
Yeah.
So it's...
If it's the same 50 people playing in every tournament just because they can all remember all of the different combinations, that's nowhere near as much fun.
Heron Vita says it really annoys him that GW will sell Warbands with less content and for the same price, if even higher. I hate to tell you this, but that is how capitalism works. It's basically, if you go this Christmas, I don't know where you live, Heron, but this Christmas, go and have a look at your box of chocolates in the supermarket, and then go and take one back from 5 years ago and see whether you've got as much content in your box of chocolates. I guarantee you won't.
This isn't a Games Workshop thing. I mean, we love Games Workshop, and we are really keenly aware...
Speak for yourself, I'm sort of ambivalent about it.
We love Underworlds.
Yes.
So we're keenly aware of the Underworlds product, which means we can sit and go, oh, I remember when this used to cost £20 and you get loads of cards with it and all. And all of that were fields.
In Yorkshire as
and
well.
we're all in Yorkshire. So, unfortunately, what's happening there is you've got a bit older and things got more expensive. Some of it's valid, some of it isn't.
Mickey Bell says, I feel like you've mentioned a metaphor in the past about a cone/horn and things needing to get people at the top of the horn. I've nearly suggested to Pete we do a whole video about this.
The horn.
Because again to kind of to recap it, but it was on Peach's video.
Yeah.
On one of his things he was talking about.
It was on the Painting Face. They were interviewing their an ex-lead product designer. Yeah.
And basically, most of the people, so if you imagine the hobby as a big horn with a wide top, most people are here, but the longer you're in the hobby, you go down the horn and get right down here, but there's fewer and fewer people right down here. That's why there's fewer and fewer people down there. And basically, each time, they want to get more people in, so they make the front of the horn more attractive, if that's not too horrible a metaphor.
It's all about appealing to that big base.
Yes, exactly. So if they can get more people in to play Underworld at a simple level, they make more money, which is actually what they want to do. They like to make...
Nick says it here. He says the single most important thing for their games and their community is recruiting more people, which is right. If you've got a game and you've got 30 people playing it and a year later you've got 30 people playing it, you won't actually have 30 people playing because some of those people will drop out and you don't have people replacing them. If you start with 30 and a year later you've got 60... that's just going to be a better place to be.
Just a real life example is you only need to look at the content providers for Underworld in the last 7 years.
Yeah.
Path to Glory still exists. It's been going for a long time. but it isn't all the same people.
No.
We two, because of where we happen to be at the stages of our lives, are the only two people who carried on doing it, because different people find different games, do different things.
We've already got married, had kids, done all that nonsense.
So we've got nothing left in our lives.
Exactly.
So what I'm trying to say is that you need new people in, otherwise, the content provision will die. But if you take that across the game will die. So you need to keep bringing new people in, and as Nick says, you get to meet lots of really, really great people.
Yeah. So sorry to sort of dogpile a bit on the whole thing of the claim that making it simpler is bad, but that's because we just massively disagree. So I don't think we can ever, you've got your point of view, we've got ours. I don't think they're going to meet in the middle at all. So
You've just scrolled the chat up. I was thinking, I need to scroll it down so I can
go down, go back down, go back down. And yes,
trumpet.
There is a Warhammer Worlds is holding a tournament on Thursday of Nemesis, of the old game. So get in there, quick. I'm trying to see if there's any other. So does anybody have any questions about any of the stuff GW are doing with Embergard that they're not sure on yet? If there's anything we can sort of.
The biggest issue is there is already an ultra casual game in the AOS setting, Warcry. UW fan base can disappear really quickly. See, that is true, but they're also completely different games.
Yeah.
Warcry and Underworlds. I'm not very competitive. I'm not very good at Underworlds really, but I love it.
Warcry takes longer as well.
I don't particularly like Warcry.
Yeah.
And I quite like Spearhead, which is sort of a simplified version. But I don't care whether I win or lose Spearhead. It's just a way of slinging some dice and having a bit of a laugh.
Yeah.
But Underworld, I care too much whether I win or lose because I'm not very good. So
I think Underworld.
Obviously everything is different to different people, and different people take different things from it. But the fact that it is more simple than it used to be doesn't make it worse. In fact, some of the rules changes from looking at Nick's live stream, not having reaction steps or so many reaction steps, it's just it's just better. Because actually complex becomes you forgot that you needed to do a reaction, or you forgot you put that upgrade on.
Yeah.
That isn't complex, that's just memory. So game. If we want to play memory game, we can go and play pairs.
Well, it is complex, but it's the worst kind of complex because it's just you need to just remember these steps to make it complex. Yeah. I think coming back to the comment, because he said that the Polish community, which held huge Underworlds events, I'm going to argue they didn't hold huge Underworlds events. They held Underworlds events. I wouldn't have called most of them huge. But yeah, okay, so there are going to be some communities that aren't going to like these changes. But overall, I think it's going to create more communities than it's going to lose. And maybe the Polish community are just going to keep playing version 1.
Yeah, maybe.
There's nothing saying you can't do that. If you prefer a much more complex version, because there are people out there that still play like the 3rd version of Warhammer Fantasy Battle, or they went on to 9th Age instead of AOS, or all those kind of things. There will be people out there who still keep playing it, but I think Games Workshop have decided that they want to move on, and at some point you've just got to say, okay, you've made it into a game I don't want to play.
Yeah.
I'll just keep doing the other version.
Heron Vitor has now said that having it being more expensive to get into can push people away, but I don't really agree with that either, because he said now you have to buy more stuff to start playing. Really, you have to buy a core box regardless.
You've got to buy the same stuff.
Yeah, there isn't. Yeah, I mean you get slightly less in the box, but you actually use more of it. Maybe
see the earlier comments on, just stuff costs more.
Exactly.
These
so
days.
but you still needed to buy a box. I mean, technically you could get away with it if other people had stuff, but that's still the same. That's still the same. If you have nothing and you have no player base, the only way to start this game has always been to start with the core box.
And
the fact that you now get less stuff in it.
A little less stuff, not massive.
But it doesn't matter anyway, because you still needed this. You still need the same box to play.
Also, I think complaining about cost is a pointless argument, because it's not like Games Workshop are going to go, you know what, we should be making money, we should just give all this away. So I think it's a pointless argument. It's a grumble we can all have, sure.
Yeah.
And
we'd all like it to be cheaper.
Exactly, I wouldn't mind paying 40 quid for it or whatever, but I don't think it's more expensive now for a new player to get into
cost, Vodka VK says, hey guys, love your channel. Will the Embergard Warbands and deck be sold separately? We don't know, but history would suggest not.
Yeah, going by previous
they never really have been, or when they have made them available, people didn't really buy them, so I don't think we'll be seeing them.
I think they stopped doing it because it wasn't worth them doing it. So, but now the box is going to be available for a whole year.
Underworlds is way more casual than Warcry. Well, okay, I don't know.
I mean,
We haven't played Warcry for a really long time, so maybe it's got ultra competitive in its time, but I don't know.
Also, Warcry has that problem that you got to have terrain.
Yeah, that is true. Spoonie says, when is it out? It's been out for a while. We don't know, except it's not available for pre-order this Saturday, and I think they did say it will be available by the time the World Championships came out, which is November the 20th. So
yeah,
and there's a 2-week lead time on pre-orders at the moment,
yes.
so you can kind of work it out.
We're kind of there. There's a lot of people online now saying that they think. I mean, to be fair, they've said this for 3 weeks now, that it's going to be this Sunday they're going to announce the pre-order. Yeah. So the Saturday after that will be the pre-order date, which will be the 2nd, and then 2 weeks after that everyone will get it.
But if it's going to be out by the World, which is something like the 20th,
it'll have to be near then.
2 weeks before that at the very least. So 14th of November, no, not 14th, 6th of November. I don't know what dates are. But
Totalis says, he might have missed it. Is there a list of the 32 warbands from the picture on Warcom? There isn't an actual typed out list.
There is one knocking around. I don't know whether you can find it on our Discord. I don't know if you can find that.
But if you go to Underworlds DB, you'll be able to, it has a list of all the warbands. There's a link in the top to see all the warbands icons, so you can match it back to there. Or you could scrub back to when we were going through it, because we did basically go through them all in the end.
Adam L says the best ultimate competitive game is now Hues and Cues, which is a little nod to our
Hues and Cues
Agents
is fantastic.
Agents Con. If you do try
Who Am I Again says, one thing I don't like is them selling the War Scrolls as physical copies when they are likely to just get errated exchange. I kind of agree, but at the same time I've seen people complain that they don't want to have to download and print them themselves. So again, GW are in that, what do they do in that situation? They could do both, but if they do both, people aren't going to buy them if they've made them available for free.
I'm not sure that's true. I kind of see, because people like...
People want the nice card printouts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like if they did do both, I don't think they'd lose revenue.
And it might be that hopefully, once they start to errata things, they do release the PDFs.
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that when a War Scroll gets errata, that a PDF is made available for it.
And Nick has pointed out, I think that we've all been saying, which is he's won games before because his knowledge of the rules was just better than his opponents, not because he made better decisions. And that's just really bad.
Nick, I'm disappointed of you that you didn't point out the mistakes they were making. That's terrible.
Yeah. Just imagine him absolutely hammering, just absolutely smashing some 8-year-old at an intro game. You suck, little boy!
To be fair, you don't always know that your opponent didn't know the rules.
No. And sometimes you sit there thinking, God, I hope they haven't realised that they can't do that thing that I think they're going to try and do. And then when they try and do it, you go, you can't do that. And then you try and hold back a little bit of a grig. Like, I should have said something. But John Grant says he's lost games due to not knowing every FAQ. That's another big one as well, yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder, I do wonder, would some people, like the Polish community by the sounds of it, would they have preferred GW to say, Underworlds is over, but here's a new game called Embergard? Yeah. Would they have gone, oh, okay, that's a different game, I don't care.
Looks vaguely familiar, possibly. Yeah. Looks vaguely
would
familiar.
Because that's basically what they've done. But what they have done as well is they've said, you can use all your models from that game we've stopped doing now in this new game.
Yeah, somebody just asked that question actually, which we kind of covered, but I will quickly cover it again. It's gone. Oh no, Fruchtbear's Gaming. Is that Fruit Bear? No, Fruchtbear. I don't know. I still want to know, can I use my old Warbands minis, can I use the Rivals decks like from Nethermaze? You can't use the Rivals decks, so basically all the cards from the old game and it will be defunct. Yeah. The models... There's a couple of Warcom articles that explain it all, and the beginning of this video explains it all. But basically, 33 of the warbands you've got will be available for competitive play. But they are doing War Scrolls, they've said, for all of the old warbands for playing casually at home.
In PDF.
In PDF form.
Yeah.
So,
and they had also said that they would be rotating to bring more of those warbands out with printed cards and stuff. So, yeah, basically, you can use the models, but that's it.
John says he just wants to play the new game. Yep. I think we all do.
Somebody said something about...
I don't like Skaven the Scorncast. That's the only reason I wouldn't buy a new Corp box.
That's what I was going to say.
That is unfortunate, but I think that's, it was always going to be that this time round because of the AOS link.
But, you've got all the PDFs for your old warbands, so you buy the box to get the boards and the tokens and the 2 Rivals decks, because there's 2 Rivals decks you do need in there as well.
That's true, you do need the decks.
So you buy it for the boards, the tokens, the decks.
And you can maybe sell the models?
You either sell the models or you give them to friends to get them into the game, and then you use your other warbands with the PDFs you've downloaded for free.
There's going to be painters out there who are desperate to get their hands on the mini Doom wheel.
Yeah, the Skaven, they look absolutely fantastic. So Mark Reynolds says, in his area, he's gone from hosting groups of 13 and playing maybe 10 games per week to maybe 2 games per month. It's really crashed here. So hopefully, Mark, you'll see like an uptick. People will go, actually, I'm really into this again. Andrew Rick says, it's going to be announced this Sunday. Pre-orders November 2nd, 16th is release day. He's peeked over some local GW worker's shoulder.
We can neither confirm nor deny that.
Tut, tut, tut. Whoever they are, Nick's already found them and he's sending a memo now. Have bigger shoulders. So, yeah, don't know. We don't know. We don't have the dates. Spoonie says there's definitely someone in this chat who knows when it's coming out. couldn't guess who that might be.
Yes, Pete and Robin. Yeah.
I think they mean Nick.
Yeah, I think we might know, but we can't tell you.
I get everybody's complaints about everything in this game, but I'm kind of at that point now in the whole process where I look at it and I think complaining isn't going to change anything. And I know a lot of the GW articles earlier on all said 20 warbands, 20 warbands, 20 warbands, and then today's article has said actually 33 warbands. And some people online, they've got the tinfoil hats on, they've gone, I think it's because GW said, oh shit, we better release some more because people are moaning. I don't personally think that's the case.
No, I don't think so. I have a theory about how GW have done this. They kind of knew that each little bit of release would cause, you know, the way they've done it, they started off with not very much information and people lost their shit. Yeah. And then each time they've given us a little bit more. So now, 5 or 6 articles in, we're like, well, actually, that's pretty good. That's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. And now we're all positive. Could be. That's my conspiracy theory.
Malwinius Serrano Offram from York says that he dropped out of the game in Dark Chasm because he didn't like the style, and after that GW changed the release schedule, he thinks there's a very good game in there, and he just doesn't like how GW handle it at the moment. I mean, you might like the new way they're handling it, because I think, personally, that the new way that they're handling it is is better for us players. And obviously GW, they've still got to make some scratch out of it, so they're always going to be pushing the new thing. But I think they're not being as bad this time round now with the release.
No. After thinking about it, do you prefer the single or double board as Animal? I am a single board man. On balance.
Now, this is obviously another major criticism that a lot of people have levelled out, to say that it removes a massively complex and very, what's the word, strategic choice at the very beginning of the game. And yeah, if you've got 2 boards, you've got like over 40 combinations of how those boards could go together, depending on which sides and offsetting and all that kind of stuff. I think that benefited maybe 5% of the community who maybe gave a shit about it. And even then, not give a shit about it, but the people who really utilised it effectively, at least, I think it maybe benefited a very small elite group of those people.
Yeah. I'm going to get up and leave.
Robin's going to go.
I've had enough. No, I'm turning the heater off. It's got really warm in here.
So I'm just going to keep talking whilst Robin's gone, because I was going to go on a monologue anyway.
That's what I thought.
So I think that removing it
warm over here.
is good for everybody. There's a small group of people who near the top might lose a little bit of something, but I think overall it makes it much better for everybody else, which is one good thing. But also, I think a large amount of the time, board placement was all about just giving your opponent as negative an experience as possible.
Ooh,
because you place it so you're like, well, if I put it this way, and you're proper fucked.
Yeah.
So,
or even if I put it this way, I could smash your face in.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just feel like for casual players, and I know we've had a casual complexity, seriousness discussion this evening, but most people, particularly the best of one, just fronted up.
Yeah.
Took the board without any lethal hexes, did it, and fronted up, and that's how everybody played.
Yeah.
So I think going to a single board makes sense, and it stops. I think I said this in our earlier video.
What are you looking over there for?
I was going to look at the boards. I've got so many boards over there.
We've got a stack like
that
about
we just
this
don't
much.
use, because we've obviously got 2 of everything, so we've got double the boards. But we've just, and it's like pointless. Utterly pointless. And my heart used to sink when because they used to do extra board, then in a board pack once time, and my heart used to sink for that. It's just like, I don't want this, but I can't not buy it.
I also like, because when we watched the stream with Nick playing, it looked fantastic, because the setup was just, you pick your cards first, and then you do a roll off, and that determines who places the board, who places the tokens, who places the models, and it's just pick cards, roll dice, do everything, and then roll off to start the game. It just felt so much more streamlined by removing that one thing and changing a little bit of the order, that just makes so much more sense to me, because before it was like, oh, we need to roll, okay, now we've got to put some boards down, okay, then we need to place some tokens, oh, then we need to roll, and then we need to take some cards, and then we need to... It was just much bittier. So I think overall, I like the idea of a single board. Also, some people were complaining about how they get a lot of the flavour of the warbands from the cards, but then you had two boards, one of which was ice, and the other one looked like it was like in the middle of a furnace. You're like, just looks like rubbish. Whereas now the board is nice and all, you know, one theme across the whole thing. So I'm liking the single board.
Brandon Rutter, hello Brandon. I have to say I completely disagree with this comment. He says he thinks this version they may make the game a lot more modular with G. I'm not sure what GPs are. They might add allies, terrains, and stuff. I don't think so. I think they're going to keep it mostly the same. In fact, they're going to keep it simple.
I like the idea of it, but it's like I like the idea of Necromunda. But once I get into it, the complexity kills it for me. So I think they're looking to be more streamlined with this one, with much less...
I don't think we're going to see that.
Less modularity.
Raffle Postek says, what's the MRSP? We don't know. We did answer that further up the conversation, but we're hoping it'll be a similar price to the...
like mid-£60-ish kind of range.
What they call the Rivals of the Mirror City box. Will we get new boards? No. I don't know. Well, they haven't announced there's going to be new boards.
Well, we'll get the board in the box.
Yeah, no, but with the 4 Warband boxes.
Oh, I see.
No, I don't think so.
No, there was no mention of boards in with those boxes.
Johan again said single board equals 8 placement possibilities. I think that's enough for the average player. That's absolutely true.
Yeah, because you've got one side, the other side, and then you've got 4 different angles with it. So.
March of Time's going to miss the Hungering Parasite deck. It was interesting.
The problem I had with things like the Hungering Parasite deck and the Breakneck Slaughter deck and stuff is you then had to keep referring back to that table of when what happens, and oh, is it Inspire and then Surge and then Reaction, or Surge, Reaction, Inspire, or blah.
Nick's agreed with you.
I know, because I'm fantastic.
Yeah, he says that he was always thinking about how to do his opponent over.
We're still at over 100 people, I just want to say. You're all fantastic, lovely, beautiful, sexy people.
Yeah.
Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you're enjoying it.
M6 fee on a single board. If people work out they can always reach the Spock Warden and kill him, it becomes a solved game. I think maybe that's supposed to be my fear.
I think it's my fear. Where's the 6? There's the Y. Yeah, my fear. And again, that becomes that thing that if you lose as a Sepulchral Guard player, you know your opponent's probably going to put them straight on, and you're probably going to have that immediate charge.
Yeah, but I suppose now you can't hide the Warden, but I'm hoping the Warden isn't going to be so key.
I think he's going to be...
offset that.
And he's going to be chunkier, I think, because all 4 wound fighters... I don't know if all 4 wound fighters are going to 5 wounds. Right. The Stormcast have. But I'd like to think that, he's just going to be a bit harder to kill and, like say, a little less linchpin to the whole warband. Although, not too much less, because it would still be nice to have a bit of that flavour there.
Do you think tournaments may become 6-7 round event now that games will not take as long to play? I hadn't really thought about that. I think, what do we play?
Sure
5?
We do 5.
6
I'm not sure I could do 7.
6 maybe, yeah.
Maybe 6. Maybe, yeah. But it depends, because I think whilst... And this is the thing, a lot of people are saying, the game's simpler. I don't think it's faster to play, because you still have those brain-racking moments where you're going, do I do this? Do I go over here? Do I try and go for this objective? Do I just try and play it safe? You're still going to have all of that analysis paralysis going on. Yeah. It's just going to be less decision steps to have to take into account, but you're still going to come down to, I think, very often A or B kind of scenarios. Maybe it will speed up a bit, but...
Jamie Dean said he thought the 2 boards added some really good variety to the game, which was different from other games, which is true. I did quite like it. It was uniquely Underworlds, and I'm a little bit disappointed it's gone for that reason, but I think ultimately people didn't treat it as different from anything else, so I think it was fine. Yeah, and again, it's that thing of, it was a little bit of the game. I don't think it's enough that it's going to spoil the game when you get into it. I know there are other games like Thingy Heroes or whatever it's called, where you just have a hex-based board. It's like, okay, this is a lot like those. But in some ways, that might then encourage other people into playing it as well. Yep. Ben says 60-odd warbands, 3 or 4 abilities each. Much smaller design space. I hope it doesn't feel too samey. That is a concern, but also is another reason why you don't need as many warbands in the game at once. I feel like, but I mean, I just don't know. Until we play it, I just don't know. It's a valid concern, like the worry that the warbands will become much blander, but it's a concern that it's not worth
spending too much time on right now because we just don't know until we play it. I think, if it comes out and loads of people play it and then they go, oh, well, this warband's just like that warband's just like that warband. There's still a lot of variables in there though. The war scroll abilities, the fighter cards themselves, that all is going to add up to a lot of differences. So I'm hoping it's still going to be varied enough.
Yeah, Brandon said something interesting here, which I don't think they'll do, but it's quite an interesting idea. The way it is now, they could theoretically make warbands out of any new model range. Really, the decks are universal. They could just tell you what a warband consists of, and voila.
They could, but it would have to be push-fit models.
It wouldn't have to be.
Well, I think Games Workshop have targeted this out.
I know. I kind of see what you're saying. I almost feel like it would be like a non-tournament legal White Dwarf article.
Yes, they could
like
definitely
a red
do that.
Gobbo warband.
Yes, that
or something like
kind
that.
of thing. That would work.
But I can't. Yeah, because that's the other problem. If they do that, I don't think they'd ever make it tournament legal because it's. If it was like cobbled together out of an AOS range and they weren't all available in the same box, it would start to be a bit of a nightmare. It's an interesting idea.
Reese Monkey says, boards did add variety, but they also added a formulaic set of harrows with that triangle of block hexes and the same objective placement every flicking game. I don't know why I didn't say fucking because I've already said that this stream. I think you did end up with... You had all the... It's that classic thing. If you've got 100 combinations and you always pick one of about 2 or 3. So there isn't actually... Whilst there's an illusion of variety... You don't pick anything different.
Exactly. Love how the game is, the whole setup is set up so much easier and quicker. Yeah, Nick says that. I mean, from reading, I would agree with that. That
stream did make it look so much quicker and easier to do.
Yeah. Who thinks the Stormcast and Evergard look like they should have gone into their Wintermoor edition? A bit bad compared with the rats. I'm not going to comment. Nick told me off for commenting on the Stormcast last time, so I'm not going to do it this time.
There isn't a warband that's going to look better than the Skaven ever. So, Skaven always the best.
Stormcast always look like Stormcast, and I don't think we can ever get away from that.
There's a reason why Space Marines are really popular, and there's a reason why I think Stormcast are really popular. It's because they kind of both look
Except nobody seems to like Stormcast.
No, but they sell well, and I think GW don't care what people say. They care about who buys what.
Well, that's true. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, used to take Underworlds to the pub to play back in the day. Yeah, I think that will be easier to do now.
Adam said, can we normalise playing Underworlds in pubs? I mean, would you want to put your board on one of those tables in a pub, though?
Depends which pub.
You could just take this with you.
The pubs in Reigate would be fine.
How would you look just taking this
we have a board game night in the pub, so they're used to us being down there.
Yeah, but they probably are a bit more, I wouldn't do it on a Friday night.
No, I wouldn't do it on a Friday, no.
Oh, yeah, you won again. Smash. Yoderick says he thinks Trefnonix is right about the warband, just like Vendent's dad and daughter were obviously made for Curse City and not for us. Yeah, there are definitely some things that come out. You just go, that should have been an Underworld's warband.
Do we think we'll see special ball rules that are optional, kind of how they do for Blood Bowl pictures? Again, maybe in a White Dwarf. I don't think in the main core game because they're optional. It's probably a way off, but it kind of seems like it might be a little more like Bladeborn. Hard to tell.
I mean, it shares some similar traits in that they've got a war scroll, although Bladeborn still has like the best mechanic of a game ever, which is that dice roll off at the start, which also gives you your abilities.
My question is whether I can still fit the board and 2 warbands into my Nightwalk carry case. That was the greatest thing, a full game for 2 players in a single case. It depends on the thickness, because it looks like this board is 4.
If you think about the way
so it'll be smaller.
We know the hexes are smaller.
Yeah.
We know the board folds up in 4, but it's not going to be any thicker than 2 boards put together
true,
anyway.
You only need to take 1 board, I guess. But yes, but it's not going to be thicker than 2 boards. You're absolutely right. So I think probably yes is the answer to that question.
I don't think you're going to... And if anything, you might have to take less cards because you could just take 2 decks of... any 2 decks of the rivals decks because you haven't got the warband decks as well. So just the warband cards.
Yeah. Mickey Bell says he thinks the best thing about Underworlds... The best thing about Underworlds is the models, which is true.
And bases, what the designers do there. I do like the fact that all warband models come pre-based. They've got the moulded bases because I hate basing models. No, however, sometimes they do make bases that make me go, ugh.
Stop tiring people.
No, don't start. Keep time.
Yeah.
So many people. Sorry, we're just basically looking at your comments.
Using a single board, I'd love to see terrain tiles as an option. Lethal hexes added a lot. Now, it's interesting. I don't think they did.
What's that say?
Lethal hex. Sorry, somebody said that lethal hexes added a lot. I don't think they did because people basically stopped taking them in their own board, which basically meant there never were any. Now maybe you might get one in a best of 3 because you couldn't avoid them anymore, but they were nearly always placed to be as far away from your fighters as possible.
Yeah.
And people could, unless apart from that stupid board where there are about 1 million of them,
Which they, I think, didn't they even ban
it,
that?
yeah. You people play around them. I can't remember the last time somebody was pushed back into a lethal hex and killed.
Doesn't happen often.
No, it's only in best of 1 because you don't take the ball with the lethal hex unless they might. I suppose because they also changed the rule, didn't they? So that ghosties could be pushed into them and take damage because originally they couldn't. I think, that's how it was interpreted. And so because I think I've said to you off camera that lethal hexes people just played around them and didn't really use them. And
the only times when lethal hexes became kind of unavoidable, they kind of broke the game a bit, like with that board. And eventually, GW had to ban it. It's like, what good is there having this thing where nobody can take it
Nick
anyway?
says he loves Stormcast. Yeah, but Nick, I'm afraid you're not neutral in this discussion.
You're a little bit biased.
I don't know whether you're contractually obliged to say that or not, but...
He is, but only because he got them to write it in. Nick, we noticed you scribbled something at the bottom here about having to love Stormcast. You don't have to love Stormcast. Shut your mouth! Shut your stinking mouth! Everyone's got to have their favourite, right? Mine's Skaven and Skeletons.
I don't know what my favourite is. Empire, but that doesn't exist.
Hexbanes, basically. Hexbanes, isn't it?
Hexbane. I do like Hexbanes.
They are a lovely looking warband.
I do like Hexbanes.
Any idea what the pre-order bonus might be? Maybe a little bag again. Maybe if they're going proper Shadespire days, you'll get a little drawstring bag to put your
Maybe
dice
a
in.
fire guard, as it's called, Embergard. Maybe a little chocolate fire guard you can eat during your first game.
I'm not sure what they're going to bring out. I can't remember what they did previously. I know that for, was it Beastgrave, you got the coin? Or was that, Death Scourge?
Diachasm?
Diachasm, sorry, yeah.
Well, it was the Savage Orc one.
Yes,
that was.
That was Diachasm, yeah. Because Beastgrave was Beast.
And there was some tiles.
Oh, they did
block hexes,
the
acrylic block hexes.
The acrylic ones, yeah. I don't know what they're going to do on that. What do people think they should do? What should people do? What happened to the magic dice, says Glenn Griffin.
They've disappeared.
Magic. See the dice?
Absolutely walked into that one. Gone.
Yeah, it's a little bit of magic there. A piece of coal. Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do.
My Bane of Heroes vampire likes to run through a lethal hex. Yes, they did introduce some cards which revolved around running through a lethal hex. But that is not a reason to have the lethal hexes.
No, just because you had one combo that was just an auto take doesn't mean that it
through
was a good
lethal
thing.
hex?
Through a lethal hex?
Yeah, that was about the only time that lethal hexes, I suppose, were relevant because you had to have one so you could score calculated risk.
Yeah.
But other than that, you didn't bother.
Yeah.
And I guess that came back in a little bit with Parasite.
Critic turn counters as well. Yeah. Metal dice. I'm not sure that'd be good on the boards though. There were loads of dents all over it. What else could they do? What else could they? So one thing that we
should do. Branded Agents of Sigmar.
Robin can't even hold it up.
Slippery Agents of Sigmar turn counters. That's what they should do. Nick, get on it.
Go on, Nick. Go on. You know you want that tie-in.
Yeah.
There's so much money GW could make out of that.
I'm hoping we'll get to see a Ready for Action card. So a limited edition Ready for Action card with our faces on would be good. I don't think that's going to happen.
Currently writing emails now.
Make sure these two people don't come in the building.
yeah, don't you ever. I'm more interested by what's going to come out of the tournament packs. Because obviously organised play is still a big thing for them. They've been thinking about it because they've done the article about it. So organised play is still going to be there.
Somebody's just asked the same question.
And I'd like to... Because obviously there's going to be a trophy. There's probably going to be some alt-art cards for the Rivals decks.
I'm going.
Robin's going home again.
I've got, sorry.
There's going to be the alt-art cards for Rivals decks. But what are they going to do instead of... Are they going to do alt warband cards? Because I think they would maybe stand out a bit too much.
What they should do, they should do alt warband cards with pictures on.
Well, they might. They might just do artist renditions on them again for the alt art ones.
No, they won't.
No, they probably won't.
They won't. Can you
But
imagine if
what
they
are
did?
they? But what are they going to do?
I don't know.
No, I can't think of it. I think that. I mean,
I don't
obviously,
know. I'm just amusing myself. I mean, it would be really cool if they did like different paint jobs and stuff. Well, actually, they won't, because although somebody was talking about how the Hungering Parasite deck wouldn't be as good with photographs because you couldn't, because the Hungering Parasite's on all the cards, isn't it?
Yeah.
The Hungering Parasite deck. So if it was photographs, it wouldn't be any good. But I was thinking, how cool. I mean, I don't know how much time the design team have. Probably not very much. But how cool would it be if they basically did a whole set of cards with a little? They modelled a parasite and basically did paint jobs that involved them being. I think they said void cursed thralls. And they did a whole paint job of a whole load of Underworld figures, as though they'd been.
but they were painted void cursed.
But yeah, that would be actually better than any artwork. I think drawing. I think.
But also, what's it matter if the artwork has a picture of someone who's sort of void cursed? I know it's a bit funky to look at the
Yeah.
artwork like, but it doesn't add anything to the game.
Well, I
To
can
the
see,
playing
I
of the
could see
game.
his point of view, but I didn't necessarily think that having models, especially if they could use digital effects anyway, but having models on it didn't discount them from doing that, and actually could be cooler because they could model it and they could. GW, they know a little thing or two about making models.
Yeah. I'm still. Yeah, I'm still
I
unfazed
don't
by
want
that.
to.
I don't care.
I
too
don't want
much
to get you
for
that vein
No.
throbbing again. So let's.
Who?
That's
That's not.
in his head.
Doesn't help.
I don't know what I'm going to say. I'm just going to turn it round. It's a bit rude. Actual art cards for fighters. Charles Hill, that's a shame. I love that warband. Oh, I'm lost now. I took my glasses off and I can't read it.
Glasses off
Because I was getting a bit hot.
Why did you take your glasses off? That doesn't help.
It does. Do you not get? Do you not? Maybe it's because you're a permanent glasses wearer. You don't. If I get hot and I take my glasses off, I feel cooler. I mean, not actually literally cooler, because I know I'm sad. Do you not?
No,
Okay.
never.
But do you wear them all the time? I don't wear them all the time.
Okay.
Okay, interesting that.
Nothing.
I definitely feel cooler with that.
There was a quick
That's
aside up here from Mark Dale that said impressive chunky knitwear being sported.
Yeah, I'm
there.
actually regretting it. It's really got really hot. It's
Why don't you
up
go
to
over
20
there
degrees.
and take your jumper off, take your microphone off, and go over there and strip down a bit. Right, whilst Robert goes and does that,
Okay, I won't do it on camera because
Brandon
my
Rutter
t-shirt
says-
tempted to ride up and nobody
Brandon
wants
Rutter says that they won't, but he wishes that they would make the terrain again. I think it would be a little pointless because in this version there's 2 block texts, I think.
to. Yeah.
I'm seeing a lot more of Robin over there than I ever want to. Thankfully, the reflection in my glasses is not going to make it to the camera. So,
I'm back.
Trefnonic says, strip down for us.
That's my OnlyFans account.
Been to Berlin. As an aside, I watched In Bruges the other day. Which,
As an aside, from being in Berlin.
Berlin, Bruges,
Okay.
it's all Europe, isn't it?
I think I
So-
saw that a long time ago.
It's
Alternate
very
minis.
average film. Take off the
That's
cast,
a bit
cool
chilly,
down.
isn't it?
Same reason you turn down the volume in the cast, you can see better when reaching your destination. That's the thing though, because the music does actually distract you. So if the music's loud, you turn it down so you can better find where you
I've got to
are.
say this again. I get sweaty here when it's hot, right?
Put your glasses on, shut up.
And if it's sweaty there, then I feel like I'm hot because I'm sweating. It makes sense.
Bring out that huge beast grave die there, says Brandon Rutter. All right, calm down. Yeah, I think... I don't know what else there is to talk about now. So we've gone through all of the releases. We know what GW are doing. I think personally, 33 warbands is reaching the peak because we know that we're going to get to...
They need at least one more to make it bloody even number.
But we're going to end up with, by the end of next year, 36.
Yeah.
So
36? 37?
we're on 33 now, and they're going to add 3 more next year.
Only 3, okay, that'll give us the...
We're at 33 with the 2 this year that we don't know about
so
yet.
There'll be...
So we're at 36 at the end of
There's
next
going to be
year.
3, are there? Not
Yes, 3.
2? Okay.
Definitely 3 in the article.
So that'll be 36 legal warbands.
Yeah. And
That actually-
and 7 decks. Fucking 7! 7!
36 isn't too bad.
It's not too bad.
It's not too bad if it doesn't get any bigger. So if they started rotating stuff, I could live with 36.
36, if they start to rotate stuff out, I'll be fine with, I think. So, yeah. What do people think? Is 36 doable? What was the question to remember, Robin? Says
I've
Dave
no
Christie.
idea. Absolutely gone.
So, Trefnock says the most interesting question is what's going to cycle first, and I think it's going to be any of the stuff that has
Death
printable
Gorge.
PDFs. So I think it
The
will
13.
be. Yeah, I think it'll be the ones of the 13.
Yeah, I would be happy with that. They might do it. They might do the Death Gorge and then the Wintermore, and then the.
Also, they've not
Heritage
actually
Awards, but I
said
think
they've not actually said that they were going to cycle out any warbands. They mentioned
But
rotation and
but
bringing stuff in, but they've never said that they expressly said they're going to rotate out warbands or over what time frame. So we could still be looking at a 2-year cycling window.
And we'll think. I'm interested to see whether things cycle in and out.
Yeah.
Interested to see that too. Yeah, they haven't really said. I mean, rotation does imply things are going to leave. It's not really rotation.
Yeah, true.
But they have said they're going to bring in new versions of old warbands. So, yeah.
Surround says, Sour Round, sorry, 2002 says 36 is a lot, honestly. It's definitely at the top end of the range that I'd be happy
I mean, a
with.
30 would be my maximum, but I could live with 36. Well, I'm going to have to.
I mean, you don't have to.
No, sorry, I'm just...
You could top yourself. It's a little extreme as a reaction to this many warbands.
But no less extreme than we've seen on Facebook this week.
Somebody did post earlier today, I think, after they released that article about, so their answer to simplifying things and removing the warbands is to not simplify things, to bring out more warbands. Like, well, they haven't brought out more warbands. There's still less, because there's 30-some instead of 50-some.
They've said they're going to rotate, but they haven't specifically said they're going to rotate 2024.
I'm going to run for president. President speak. I mean, they haven't specifically said they're going to rotate stuff out or when. They've just said rotation.
Just maybe they're going to turn the models around.
Yeah, they might.
Yeah.
I appreciate they are probably going to rotate out warbands, but we don't know when. I suspect it's going to be 2 years before they rotate anything out.
Eddie Haar says he's done with the game because of the artwork. Well, we've been over the artwork about 1 trillion times. I'm not going to do it again, but that's obviously your choice.
I think the lack of artwork and using pictures is a massive setback. Yeah, I mean...
Yeah, I mean...
It is what it is.
Yeah, the game doesn't play any worse.
If that's your choice, then nothing anybody can say or do is going to change your opinion on that. I think a lot of people are like, I would like to have artwork, but it's not going to change the game having photos on there, really. Big on Mini says his personal gripe is he only has 6 unpainted of the current 58 warbands and 5 of those are staying in the game.
Yeah, that's a bit harsh.
It's a bit annoying when that happens.
But
when you're like,
I mean, you can actually paint them. Before, if they were in the game, you would never paint that, and that actually would have been a waste of money. Why do you have grey plastic? And now you can paint them and use them. So, positive side there.
Slippy says that we're still talking about
No, I didn't really mean to bring that up.
Well, someone brought it up. It was not. Someone else said it
Okay.
first. And I can't. Every time I see that now, I think of that meme with Robert Downey Jr. where he does that kind of eye roll. It's like that's just plays in my head every time I see it. It's like, yes, you don't like the artwork, we get it, but it's time to move on, I think.
So it can be linked to
should
they're committing to stocking playable factions. Should it just say one warband per faction in rotation? Can't be one warband per faction.
It could be one warband per faction. Would still give you. I think there are like 30 odd war.
Oh, well,
factions.
rotating out.
Yeah.
Sorry. I thought you meant like one.
I think what they mean is keep one warband, like one Crawl Boys, one Iron Jaws, one Gits per faction. So have one of those in. So if they bring in a new Gits warband, they would rotate out one of the other ones.
I'm with you. Oh, well, yeah, all right. So if they wouldn't have 2 Slaanesh warbands after this, after they've rotated out the 13.
Yes. So I don't mind if we don't have representation of all the warbands personally, but then it's easy to say if you're happy with the representation that's there. If there's somebody there that, like somebody in one of the chats we were on, sort of said this morning, they were like, so they've got rid of all the warbands that have female leads in them. It was like, I hadn't really noticed that, but that was a big sort of, kind of moment. But they brought some back. Yeah,
hopefully they'll.
But it is that kind of thing that if you're represented, or at least if you're happy with the representation that's there, you don't notice with the representation that's not there. So hopefully GW will just be more reactive with that.
I'm hoping they'll have a warband which is made up of people who are shit at Underworld. Adam Ertel says, why is photography not considered artwork? Have you seen what they do in lighting? Well, I have to agree with this because my camera work is awful.
Yeah.
And actually, so that is very true. It is definitely an art. There's an art to it. Art is subjective, isn't it? Let's do it. Next week we'll do a live chat on what is art.
What is art, baby? It's not that song.
And what about the painted minis art? Exactly, yes. I mean, I have to say, I think we did say this in our last live stream, and I don't really want to talk about the art again. There was a time when originally I was a lot younger, but I would have killed for a game that had the artwork.
Really cool artwork.
Well, yeah, sorry, photographs of the miniatures, because I loved looking at those in White Dwarf and in the books and everything. And if there was a game, I mean, I loved playing the combat cards even though I was too old for it, because you could look at the miniatures.
And I think if you look at the range of games from GW, most of their stuff these days is photographs.
Okay, because there's 2 female leads. I think that's what we said. But
Yeah. Everything has photos rather than artwork, and it just makes sense.
So Rynos says no Deepkin. The Deepkin are in the 13.
Yeah, there is Karenni's
Razors, which aren't the best Deepkin. They're the second best Deepkin, but they are still Deepkin.
Yeah, but there are no Daughters of Cain, so that is a shame.
But Snippy, we did mention that if the rumours are true, then that's the next one along after the next 2.
Yeah,
the third one along, if you like,
or the one before the fourth. And so I know, yes, there is 2 females in one of the Warbands, but all the others have 2 males at least.
Kyrene Stay Legal Right, I would call that a female lead. Is the Octopus a female?
Is Karenni? I think Karenni's female.
Okay.
But this was before the comment was made, before they knew about the other 13.
Zondara, Iron Souls, Kagras. Okay, yes, all right. There are more than we think.
But again, all of those are in the 13.
Yeah, all of those are in the 13.
Iron Souls. Oh no, sorry, I'm thinking. I read Iron Souls, but my brain
did the same thing.
My brain read. No, I didn't read Gerzak. But I thought of the Sky Dwarfs. So I'm like, that's not a woman.
Okay,
that's a woman.
Who knows?
Zedra, no, she's not in it, sadly. Yeah, so what else have we got in here? So someone said they don't mind either way about the artwork, but they think it's because artwork on cards kind of gives off the impression of quality and time put into it, but the photos are nice. I think a lot of people are tying artwork to quality of game, and that's just not a thing. It's just not a thing. I mean, you can make a game maybe look more posh, but then I was looking at some... I haven't got me, I don't know what I'm looking around from. I was looking at some of the cards from the Hungering Parasite deck, and some of them are bloody awful.
Yeah,
they're just a mess of colour and a barrage of texture, and it's like, this is horrible. Thundrix, yes, it was Thundrix, Nico. Thank you. Yeah, there we go.
That's what goes on in Pete's mind.
Yeah.
Right, it's 10:15.
Wow.
Anybody got anything else they want to talk about? We're going to wrap up by 5:30. Has anybody got anything they
We've got
want to
15
talk
minutes.
about?
There's still 93 of you fantastically beautiful people.
Yeah,
and again,
I love it.
Thumbs up. Hit that thumbs up. Don't
we
forget
will
to like, subscribe,
do another live once everything's gone live and we've got a copy of the box and everything, but that will be
we don't know
sometime in the future.
We will, because Robin's decided at this most important time he's going to bugger off on holiday.
Well, unfortunately, GW don't give you their release schedule in advance when I book my holiday, so I wasn't sure.
So there's going to be a week of silence. Is it next week? Next week you're going away?
Yes.
So there won't be any live stuff next week going on. But as soon as we do hear more about it and we do get a box, I think somebody asked us absolutely bloody ages ago, and normally it would only be like 3 comments up if it was an hour ago. But nowadays, it was thousands of comments ago. But they asked us, would we be doing 2.0 coverage?
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah, probably.
It's literally has challenged himself to play Thundrix in full NMM. I'm really looking forward to that. If you haven't check out Nico's Instagram. Unfortunately, I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
Put it in there, Nico. Stick a link in.
His artwork is really great. I really like it. It's got his own style, which is uniquely Nico's. But yes, I'd love to see those Nico. So and he's one of our patrons, so we'll get to see. We have a painting channel in our Discord, in our Nico, in our Patreon Discord, where we put all our. Well, I think my painting's quite good, and then I see other people's, and I realise that mine's just kind of okay.
I've got to that point in life now. I think I've reached that point in life that you want to be at with anything like painting, in that I'm happy with what I've done. I can look at other people's stuff and think that looks fucking amazing, but I can also look at my stuff and go, I think that's really good, and I just don't mind that.
It's about progression, isn't it? I can see where mine are better than they were, so I quite like that.
See, I don't mind, because I don't think I've progressed much in the last year or two, but I'm happy with where I'm at. So I think if you're progressing and that's what you want to do, great. If you're not progressing but you're happy with where you're at, also great.
Sometimes I do look at old pictures and think, oh, my painting's not really any better now than it was. Why am I... Anyway.
Nico does commission work as well.
Oh, do you?
He's too shy to advertise it. Well, then he's done it for you, so good.
Yeah. So I'm guessing, Johan and Nico, you know one another. I'm assuming.
Sarah Round has just quoted one of my favourite lines. It's true, you don't see many dwarf women. And in fact, it's sort of like in voice and editor, they're often mistaken for dwarf men.
Yeah, I never know whether it's you or your wife when you come in.
No, no. Sometimes it's the wife. Yeah, I think we're kind of starting to reach a natural end to today.
Yes.
We've covered both the articles. Somebody did ask about when it's coming out, and the short answer is don't know.
Comparison is the thief of joy. I have heard that quote before, but it's a good
Yes, it's a very, very apt one. One I try and teach my kids a lot, because I know sometimes they're prone to. My eldest, who's in sixth form college now, every now and then he'll say that he spends a lot of time on his homework, and he has friends who do absolutely bugger all and still get like A's and B's. I'm like, you can't go there.
No.
Just don't go there.
We've just joined a table tennis club, my son and I, and we're quite good. Like conclude like.
And you've got like these South Korean,
a bit like my opponent,
6 meters away from the table, smashing them across the board.
When you against like people who don't play at all, don't paint at all, it's quite good. And then when you put it against like people who know what they're doing, it's like no. So we're basically this table tennis club is hilarious because it's full of sort of septuagenarians who are absolutely fucking brilliant. They don't move.
Bam, bam, bam. It's like I went to play squash years ago with somebody who was a good 30 years my senior, I think, 20 to 30 years my senior. And I thought, quietly confident, obviously, when I went into it, and by the end of it, I was annihilated. So it's definitely experiencing those kind of things is much more useful.
Yeah. Shout out to John Grant's painting. Yes, John Grant's painting is excellent. If you want to see it, check out our Spearhead. Latest Spearhead video on YouTube because we use John Grant's miniatures in there and they are beautiful. They are classic box art lovelies.
Nick Baton says Tick Tick was named after the sound table tennis bats make.
Tick Tick or Tick Tock? Tick Tick.
Tick 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 Boom. Heron says the problem is that I don't see those decisions making more people playing the game. It looks basically the same. I mean, on the surface, I think...
He loves the game, by the way. Well, that's good then, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean...
So this is the thing that's slightly insane. From what I've seen, the game looks more like Shadespire, but just streamlined down a little bit.
Yeah.
And people loved that game when it came out.
Yeah.
So I don't really understand why it's a bad thing. And if you love the game, how is it being basically the same?
I think what he's saying the problem is he doesn't see that encouraging more people in. I think from somebody outside of the game, it will look like a different game to them.
I'm going to say it again, it's anecdotal, it doesn't necessarily cross over. We have had 100 viewers for 2 streams in a row, which is something we've never had before, and the game isn't even out yet, which implies there's more interest. Now, I know a lot of you have played it before, but even just having everybody, even if half the people who are interested get back into it, it's probably at least about 5 times more than the people who were playing. And just the extra numbers of people back into it will bring other people in who aren't playing.
It also, as Nick's pointed out there, it makes it much easier to teach.
Yes.
So if someone
totally see that,
if someone were to say, "Oh, I'm quite interested in Underworlds," with the current setup, you could probably half teach them a game in an evening, and they're going to be like, "It's a lot of fucking stuff here."
Yeah, and also I think as we said in our other video, they want to play the Loom Court, so you spend explaining to them how objectives work, and then they go, right, so what do I do? Well, the first thing you need to do is you need to forget what I've told you about objectives, because it's different for this warband.
It's changed completely. And somebody else has also said in there, where has it gone? Brandon Rutter says that it might draw some people back as well. He didn't want to go into it because of all the card. Lots of people said they left it around Beastgrave time and Chasm because of all the card chasing and the relentless releasing and stuff. But now it's not that, and they might look at it and go, actually, I might give this a try again. Now it's been reset. I know I can come back into it and not worry about the fact that I've missed out on 3-4 years of releases. So it does give that reset point, I think.
Slippy says he's going to give us a game of table tennis. I don't know how we're going to fit that in. Can't do it in here.
It's going to be a bit cramped in here.
Next Agents Con, we'll get a table tennis table in.
Kazek says artworks being changed to static models removes fighters express themselves to whatever situation they're in. I can't imagine Mars State with static models. I just did it. So the next one we've got is.
But you could put masks on the models.
Or just post models. Who looks at the card on the artwork and goes, "Oh yes, I'm getting into the mind of somebody wearing a mask." It's just nice art to look at, but it doesn't change the bloody game.
Or maybe they won't do that sort of thing.
If Nick can teach it, everyone is a potential new player. I've taught the game before and specifically chose simple warbands to play with because it was so cool. Exactly. Yeah.
We were at our club nights where we tried to bring new people in. Again, we've like which
ones are
which
less
rivals
complex?
deck should we bring? that's easier to teach, and they're not going to break the game too much and isn't too overpowered. Hopefully that should all be nice.
Even
and
things
simple.
like, I'm not going to take Rippers because they've got the dog reactions.
Yeah.
That's going to confuse me every time. I was playing someone last week and I had Rippers, and I was like, okay, so they're going to do their attack, and you could tell they were just gearing up to what they were going to do next. I was like, and now the dog gets an attack, and I'm like, what? What do you get 2 attacks for? Like, because that's how it works. So yeah, I like the fact that it's going to be a bit simpler. Heron says, GW talking about making more updates like in Kill Team every 3 months. They did say in their, I can't remember if it's today's article or yesterday's,
every quarter
that they were going to quarterly do
updates,
balances. So looking forward to that, because I think that can only be good for the game.
I think
More responsiveness.
I think so. Do you like the new card backs?
Who's that? Adam L.
Yeah.
I'm pretty ambivalent to the backs of cards. I just wish they'd pick a design and stick with it. I like the last ones, to be honest. And I don't like, on these ones, the logo on it. I kind of feel like it doesn't need the logo.
When I'm playing, I don't look at the card backs.
I mean, yeah, overall.
It doesn't matter if I do look at the card backs. It means my opponent can see what cards I've got. So I don't. Yeah, no, I don't know.
Also, you've got loads of people out there who sleeve all their cards. So you're slagging off the back of a card that you're going to sleeve and never see anyway. So I'm not saying you are.
Yeah, I have no feeling about.
Yeah, at most, I'm mildly disgruntled that they're changing them again.
Yeah.
But that's about as far
But
as
actually, because
it goes.
it's so different and everything is invalid, it actually makes more sense to change it.
It does,
There's
yeah.
no confusion.
It does.
There's no confusion.
They do look very bright in the pictures we've seen, but I noticed in the game that Nick and, I can't remember the other gentleman's name, in that game, they didn't look quite as lurid.
Joshua. I think it's Joshua.
No, I don't think it was Joshua
Or
at all.
Joshua. Okay, all right, sorry.
It might have been Josh. Maybe it was Josh.
Yeah, not Joshua at all.
I know people just called Josh.
Okay, I think his Twitter name might be Josh. Anyway.
Okay, anyway. Sorry. They didn't look as lurid when you could see them on the table, but that might just be because the cameras, it was a bit more moody lighting, so it's hard to tell. Yeah, Mario said he never showed new players Crimson Court due to complete. Yeah, I mean, again, you've got some warbands like that, they were just so complex.
His name is Joshua, but goes by Josh.
Oh, we were both right there. Hooray!
I think he's the Prince, is he? Or used to be the Prince of
He's the
Beltan
Prince.
on...
He's the Prince.
On Twitter. I think I followed him before.
Oh, okay.
GW, I think, and his miniature painting is excellent.
Do you think they have to go through all of their Twitters and their social accounts after they get hired by GW and just delete loads of stuff? And they go, oh, fucking hell, this new release is shit. Fucking GW. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, no, delete. No, I've always loved GW. I know they don't really. I'm just being silly. Dubstars84 says, I think that the card backs look like ketchup and mustard packets.
And they do, but that's no bad thing. They do.
They're quite vibrant. I
like the hexes on them. Everything is better with hexes.
The gold one looks like it's a honeycomb because of the hexes on there. How many reforgings before Nick will lose his lovely smile? Never! Never! Isn't there like one of those ones that's been reforged and he's like, he can remember everything? Nick's like that, but he'll always be smiling. Even when he's got dead eyes.
Right, we're rambling now. We've got 4 minutes left, so I think we're going to go hexagons are the bestigons at 100%.
Exactly, Skylar. And because the dragon says he likes ketchup and mustard, so they tempt you into Bugman's. Yeah. Just be sitting there playing, just thinking, really fancy a burger. I mean, I'm like that nearly all the time anyway.
Our
Murder
club
right now.
next door to a fish and chip shop.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a good invention.
Yeah. So, out of everybody watching, thank you for all the likes. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's been fantastic again, and I can only hope that in the future we have more and more releases, and they go more and more live sessions, and they go as well as this one. One question I just want to pose to everybody before we call it a night here is, we're probably not going to do weekly live sessions.
No.
But would people like more regular live sessions, like fortnightly or something like that? And what would people like to see us covering with this new edition? Would you like to see us doing just like reviews of decks and warbands, or do you want to see live games like Nick and Josh put on? Do you want to see us doing live stuff played and all that kind of thing, or just Q&A chat sessions like this one?
We have a quick question which is completely unrelated to what you've just said, but
Well,
it says if we have one, what are each of our favourite change with the new edition?
I've got loads, but I think mine is probably that crits aren't a shit.
I knew Pete was going to say crit changes. What's my favourite change? I feel like it might be crits as well. like the fact that it flows much better. That's
Yeah.
why
Watching,
it's much more streamlined. It flows much better.
Watching that's the setup on the game that Nick and Josh played. It was like one roll off and then just loads of stuff just happens. Like, right, we do this, then we do that, then we do this. There was
Breakdowns on decks, live games, so you can correct rules in Pete's favour. Yeah.
Thank you, Mickey.
Some live games will be nice. We're definitely going to do some live games when it lands.
So
game and chat will be good. Games will be great. Okay, well we'll do some games.
A follow-up question then to that is that if people want live games, do they want to see the new Warbands or do they want to see some of the 33 Warbands? And would they like to have some say in that?
33. I feel like we need a T-shirt.
The 33. And I would love to. I don't think we've got time. I'd love to do like a league of the 33, so we'd each pick. We halve it between us. We haven't got time for it, but it'd be cool to see. Plus, it's only 33, so it wouldn't work out. We'd have one sad little Stormcast Warband just sat there not being played.
A league of everybody playing everybody. How many combinations is that? 33 combinations. Quite a lot. It's the 30-second triangle number.
What's Charles was saying? Just tying in with releases would be good enough. Would be enough. I don't understand.
Okay, I think he just means every time there's a release, do a live check.
Yeah, well, we'll certainly do that.
Yeah. With all the new models getting new rules, every single warband will feel new.
Exactly, Nick. That is a very good point. And I am looking. The problem with that is now I've got about 10 warbands that I want to play all at once.
Yeah.
And I don't know which one I want to play most.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a poll. Maybe Peter and I'll get a list of what we want, 5 we want to play, and then people could choose.
Maybe we do like 5 warbands each, and then people can pick
what we play.
what they're gonna see us clash with.
Absolutely.
Mark Brown says he'd like to see warbands using rivals decks. I mean,
and then
we'll have to, and then with Nemesis.
Yeah, I'm interested to play some Nemesis in this new format.
Chris Morris says he's gutted. He's only just joined. Kirby's down a bit longer, but we're very tired.
Yeah.
And now you can go back and watch like an hour and a half's worth of stuff of us jibbery jabbering. So
there's a lot of jibber jabber. The only thing is, if you ask questions, we won't answer.
Yeah. Well, you can stick them in the comments below.
We will still answer. It might not be live.
Anybody who's been watching this later on,
do whatever gets the most clicks and views. Oh yeah. If we knew that,
we'd do it.
We'd have more clicks and views. John Cha is back from Spearhead. We're just about to go. You can have a chat with Christopher Morris.
Yeah, because he's just joined too.
Yeah.
But do stick in the description, not in the description, don't stick in the description. We put stuff in the description. Stick it in the comments below if you've got any other questions you'd like to see us answer or videos you'd like to see us do stuff on.
Yes, Nick, you're absolutely right. I did see this. He says, did you see the article today referencing multiplayer games are on the way? Fascinated by that. I mean, we haven't seen anything about none of the stuff.
None of the articles so far have mentioned multiplayer.
I kind of thought it wasn't going to be a thing anymore because how do you do it with one board?
Maybe you have 2 boards.
Yes, we obviously need 2 boards, but 3 then is like 4 because you could do 4-player.
5, 6.
Well, I don't know how you can do even numbers of players.
I don't know how you can do it with the boards, to be honest, because how do they even connect? Because they don't. Yeah, so I don't know how that's going to work. I'm quite interested to see. Maybe it'll be a bit like.
Tear your board in half.
Maybe it's like Arena Mortis was, where you have a model, or maybe a couple of models, or something like that. Maybe, and you can pick it based on bounty, or you get 4 bounty, and you can. I like a bounty every now and then, maybe a Twix. But you could use bounty to say, okay, you can have 4 bounties worth of models, or something like that, maybe.
What happens to Snurk? They don't need multiplayer, they need 2 agents, yes.
We
have had a question.
We've never played.
I don't know if you can answer this, Nick. We have had a question in our Patreon Discord. I don't know whether you can answer it. I don't want to put you on the spot, Nick, but is scything a thing in the new game? I don't know if Nick can answer that.
I think we know what Nick's going to say.
I can't answer that. I just wonder why. I don't know whether.
It's not been mentioned.
No, exactly. I don't know whether it just it hasn't come up, and so it's not in it, or whether. So I don't know whether you can answer that, Nick. It's not like what's GW's plans for the next 5 years.
I suspect he can't say.
No, possibly not.
But we've not seen mention of it, which possibly means that it's gone because
he cannot answer. Fair enough. Yeah, I thought that would probably be the case. Apologies for putting you on the spot. I wasn't quite sure whether that twisted over to say that wasn't in the rule. Yeah, because you've done the playthrough. But anyway.
Yeah. So I think the general response is just do stuff and people will watch it. So we'll just keep doing different videos and see what works really. Someone Rick says that they don't really like multiplayer, so they just prefer the third person being the bartender. I mean that's always helpful. Yeah, just go and get the drinks. Do you think they'll sell the bands separately? Says Christopher Morris.
I don't.
Is that the wall from the box? Either way, I don't think they will. I think they're moving towards this whole multi-box sort
Full
of thing.
Snurk article required. Yes, Nick. Hopefully, there's a Snurk article in Warcom in the offing.
If it is still in, please make it not so darn powerful. I suspect
that will definitely be the case.
Yeah, I suspect that they'll either tone it down or.
Yeah.
I mean, we know that combat's generally
A bit
not
less-
that
a bit less.
punchy from what we saw in
Yeah.
that playthrough and stuff.
Yeah.
People have more wounds. It's a little harder to just get guaranteed kills in. So
You can't vault on him quite the same way, can you? I don't think.
no, I don't think so. From the cards we've seen played
Yeah.
and stuff like that, there's definitely, I don't think so now. Brandon Russ says, next to Warbands, Seraphon, no, confirm or deny. We can neither confirm nor deny because we don't know. There's not been
We can
anything
confirm
announced.
that they might be.
We can confirm there's lots of people online saying that they've been doing their usual detective work with all of the photos. GW released the photos of different little bits and pieces of shots. So
We can confirm that definitely is the rumour.
yeah. If they're about to sell 2 new ones, they must be willing to sell them separately. Oh, I think the Warbands, like the Nurgle one, if that's it, and what was the other one they were saying? Nurgle and Seraphon.
Yeah.
They'll be separate Warbands, I think. I don't think they'll do like a double box
I
of
don't
them.
think double box there. I think it will. It's always been core box, single warband, single warband, single warband.
Yeah.
I don't know how long the core box is going to last, obviously, but
At least a year from the article.
They have flirted with releasing the core box warbands as a pair, but
Yeah.
they've never bought. It's never caught on.
It
I think
doesn't
it'll
seem
be
to
even
have.
less caught on this time because pretty much everybody who's going to play is going to buy this box.
And as there's only
Therefore,
one,
there's going to be nobody buying a single warband.
and as there's only one core box like a year at the minute, it seems buying one core box a year to get new boards, new decks, new warbands doesn't seem as onerous as
But certainly every 6 months.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't even mind if it went for 2 years.
No, I wouldn't mind either, really. And Lance just says, sure to recover, but we'll be interested to know how the warbands from previous cores will be available. I mean, yeah, we don't know
we don't
with the
know,
13.
yeah.
They haven't actually said
So
whether they're going to keep
core boxes
stocking them or
last
not.
longer, didn't they have a 2 year before? The core boxes, the starter boxes lasted longer, but the core boxes were what they released every 6 months.
Yeah,
So, and they started off there every year. So Shadespire was a year, Night Vault was a year, Beastgrave was a year, Chasm was a year, and then I think they moved to 6 monthly boxes for the next 3 years.
yeah.
Although we didn't get up to Wintermore, and I think they're going back at least to a year, and there's some implication that it could be longer, but that's completely conjecture on my part.
And it's questionable whether they'll keep doing like they've been doing these beginner starter boxes, whether
Yeah.
they'll keep doing those.
Well,
Because
yes,
they
because
made
it
it-
says the core box is for the entire edition, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, but we don't know what that means.
No, we don't know if that's. We know it's at least 1 year,
Yeah.
but that's all we really
Yeah.
know. So, yeah. Will there be an app? Probably not. I can't see how they could make any of it an app, really. Apart from just the rules in a digital
Yeah.
form, I don't think it's
so.
worth
And
doing.
maybe with the War Scroll cards in. Maybe.
The trouble is, then you've still got to track it and
Yeah,
everything,
I
and
can't
I
see
don't,
that,
I
but
don't
yeah.
see this really.
No.
For how little you need, I don't
I
think
mean, it'd
there's
be cool if there was one, but there won't be.
no, and I don't think there's a need for it.
Underworlds DB is probably your friend, and that's not an app, but
Yeah.
it's probably your friend.
And
Sleek Spores, please see Black Power and Iron. So lots of people who haven't been commenting are suddenly in the chat, and it's like, oh, well,
must be kicking out time somewhere. This happened last time. We're like, all right, we're going, and everyone's like, oh, but what about this? Oh no, we've got more things we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, the core box is going to be for at least a year. They're going to release all the other warbands outside of the core box one at a time. That'll come with a Rivals deck, which will also be, we think, a separate purchase because that's how they've done it up until now. And I know some people are like, oh, I want to get a warband, but I don't get any cards with it. Like, no, but that's life because
Yeah.
everything costs more. And
Yeah,
you
we
get
had
less
another
for
question
it.
about is it too little diversification and variety? And I was just thinking back to the days of the Shadespire, when you didn't even get a full deck of flavour
You haven't
cards.
even got a full deck to play.
Flavour
You're not
cards.
even
You had
playing
to-
with a full deck.
You had to add the other ones in, and a lot of the other ones were a lot better than the war cards, so people barely took them. But they still have flavour. I just don't know whether they're going to feel the same
No.
with 58 warbands and 58 war scrolls. And until we've played it, we won't know. I suspect a little bit of flavour will be lost, but I suspect actually because of the way the game works, going back chess doesn't have flavour, but you get absorbed in the game, and it's the tactics of the game, and I think that's what is going to happen with Underworld.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
Yeah. I think that's probably where we're at then with it. They've shown Warbands and car release on the roadmap, but no boards. No, they haven't showed any additional
And the
board.
roadmap's disappeared, as we established.
Yes, the roadmap's also gone. So whether that means they forgot to add boards to it, who knows? But they haven't done an individual separate board release for 3 years now, I think, or something. So I don't think that's coming
Hopefully
back.
this core set lasts a while. I hope so. I don't think there's anybody who wants to buy a box every 6 months. So a year minimum. And I'd be more than happy for them just to release single Warbands every couple of years. And maybe a board. Maybe they could do a board after a year. Just gives a bit of variety. But yeah.
I can see them going back to annual boxes.
I can. I think
a new board every time, and maybe a 2-year rotation, so you've still got 2 boards to choose from when you play.
Yeah.
So I think we're probably going to call it there.
Yes.
Thank you to everybody, all of you beautiful people for sticking with us. It's been fantastic. And if you haven't, do like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And keep an eye out for when we're next going to be online. Obviously, we're not producing a lot of videos at the minute because we're prepping stuff. So we're getting ready for other things for when it lands.
Just one last thing.
Go ahead, honest Jeff. Ask us on the Discord, because if you're a Patreon, you can go on our Discord and talk to us 24/7.
24/7, and we don't answer 24/7, but we're there.
Who wants that though? Right. So I think that's us. I think we're
really.
going to say goodnight.
Just one more thing.
Just one more thing.
Snurk. What about Snurk? How's
Snurk?
it going to inspire? We've no idea.
Not a clue.
But that's what that's because Jeff really wants to know how Snurk's going to work, and that's what prompted him who asked about. That's what I asked Nick.
Going to work.
Yeah. Thanks everyone.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll be back in another couple of weeks to do another live one. Maybe by then we'll have heard more about release date. And watch this space. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube and all of that good stuff, and you'll be kept up to date with what we're doing next.
Yeah. Cheers everybody.
So we'll see you soon.
Bye.